This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everybody to your sunset safari today here in the Masai Mara in Kenya. And as we can see, we have stopped at a most beautiful location with a huge herd of elephants walking towards us. And not only that, we have many different antelope species also in the distance. It is the perfect parking spot today. And here you're getting a perfect view of the landscape of the Masai Mara. Now, my name is Lauren, and on camera today I have a very special person called Manu. Now, before we go any further, I'll just remind you to send in your comments and questions using the hashtag SafariLive. I have a very important story to tell. So, before we go to anybody else who wants to say hello, I want to tell you my story. So, this morning has been very eventful, and as many of you might know, actually, on the sunrise safari, dear Patricia did get stuck and he joined the Marshmallow Club. Now, it was quite a traumatic incident, and myself and Manu did, of course, come to rescue him. And we did, and we were actually very happy with it, and we were gloating, and we were like, yes, Patricia's part of the club. And they drove off. Manu was driving, and the next thing we know, we're in the biggest possible ditch ever, and Manu has officially became the king of the Marshmallow Club. Now I'm just going to show you. Are you embarrassed, Manu? No. I want to show you the situation. So this is the second rescue of the morning. This is the rescuers being rescued. So I'll just show you how wonderful this went. You can actually hear the volume. And we did it. Isn't that traumatic? It was an unbelievable moment. And then we have a lovely photo here of Manu himself with a crown, King Marshmallow. He's laughing, he's giggling in the background. So it was a morning of two people getting completely toasted in this Marshmallow Club. So we feel like good luck is on our side. We have actually been out for quite a while this morning, and we are searching for cheetah for you. We are at the border. This is the area where we very often find cheetah, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Now, we can't guarantee we're going to find it, but that is our mission for today. So while we look adoringly at these two herds of elephants on either side and all these antelope up ahead, our main aim of the search is, of course, cheetah. So send good vibes our way, because we definitely know it. Everyone's laughing at Manu. Oh, it really has been some day. We came back to camp absolutely covered from head to toe in mud. And of course, Patrick himself, whose real name is Patrick, by the way, not Patricia. Oh, hello, Ellie. Having a little look at us. Was obviously very happy that he was quickly removed of the title and the crown, and it swiftly went on to Manu. So I think he's actually the first ever cam-op to get in such a sticky situation. He's nodding, yep. So he's very proud right now, and is, oh, look at your little tiny baby tusks. This is obviously a very young Ellie we have right in front of the car, and you can just see the growth of those tusks there. The trunk is also not quite reaching the ground. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but it's actually very short. So this is a very young Ellie. Now, if you look at the adult we have in front of us also on the other side, you're able to see the length of tusks on this adult. So look at what size they grow to. So apparently, of course, there are other people that do want to say good afternoon. I just had to get that story well and truly out the way. So let's head down to South Africa to say hi to Sydney.
What a beautiful tree. You can see that the tree looks like a human being carrying an umbrella with the beautiful skies on the background. A very, very good afternoon, and most of all, welcome to the beginning of the afternoon game drive. I am Sydney Fumunani Mikosi, and I'm traveling with Senzo, who is my camera operator this afternoon. We are going to try by all means to get you see a lot of interesting game. And for in case if you need our attention, we are highly available. You can follow us on Twitter, hashtag SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. I'm very happy with this kind of weather this afternoon. It's not that bad. Maybe we might be lucky with the beautiful cats. So there is a little bit of wind which is cooling down the high temperatures at the moment, and it's getting overcast. This is quite an amazing weather. So you can see animals, they've got quite a lot to eat. The grass is just overgrown everywhere. So while I'm trying to search in these grasses, let's go to Taylor, who is also about to kickstart the afternoon drive.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this wonderful cloudy sunset safari again. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is John Bray. He just ate a banana and he didn't put it in my ear. That was surprising. I was getting nervous a little bit earlier when you were eating that. Thought, oh no. Anyways, we're driving around on Juma at the moment, and we are heading towards Treehouse Dam to go and have a look to see if there's any animals there. I'd quite like it if there was a herd of elephants waiting for us there. If not, we will be going to Chitwa to also look for elephants, and hopefully they'll splash around in some water. That's going to be the sighting that I'll be searching for today. No cats? None? Don't care? If they show themselves, they show themselves. Otherwise, we are going to be looking for elephants. Elephants and only elephants. So if anyone sees them, let me know. Not that you can tell me, but I should probably say that on the radio. Hey, it'd be a bit more useful to me. But there are a couple of tracks of elephants going up and down here, but they look quite large, and it's only one set, so it might be one of the big bulls that are roaming around here at the moment. Lauren, you've stolen my elephants. If I don't see any elephants today in South Africa, it's because you've got them all in Kenya. Let's go and take a look at those beautiful grey animals.
Well, Taylor is obviously looking for elephants, and we are absolutely surrounded by elephants. We have this beautiful herd that you're looking at on the right. It's a separate herd from the one that we have currently right in front of us. We have two elephants right in front of the vehicle. They're very relaxed, and they're just feeding quite happily, not really making any awareness that we are right here. Now, they are very, very close, as you can see. They can probably hear me, but we have been here for some time now, so I think they're quite relaxed with regards to our presence. And this is a herd of a lot of mixed ages. If we just take a look to the left now, you can see they're all walking towards us. There's a very, very large one, almost in the middle there. And then there's a very young one. Yep, that's the large one. I would say that's the largest, actually, in my opinion. And then we have a very, very young baby elephant just off to the left. Now it's disappeared behind all these other elephants, but it's there. Oh, there you go. It's so small. Isn't that adorable? I just love when you come across these animals and you're able to see the complete range of ages, from very, very young to very old. So it's not possible to tell exactly who the matriarch is, but they will, of course, be following the matriarch. I did get asked a question there, but unfortunately I didn't catch it, so we'll just get Murray to repeat it. I believe it was about the age of the youngest Ellie, but I'm not sure who asked that question. So if you are able to... Again, I'm not getting who asked that question, but the youngest elephant, the one we just looked at, I'm not sure. When an elephant is 1 year, they say that it's just able to fit under the tummy of the mother. So it's able to sort of fit itself under the stomach. So So, I'm not sure what, I'm just going to have to keep my eyes all around here. This elephant is very close to the vehicle. So that elephant was well below that size of an adult female's tummy. So it's definitely under 1 year, possibly even around 6 months. It's a very, very young elephant. Can you hear it tearing up the grass? I'm not sure if you're able to hear that, but it's really ripping out the grass here. Oh, I'm glad you can hear all of that. It's thoroughly enjoying the grass here. And that's one of the wonderful things about the comparison of the two environments. So the Mara is very different from Juma, of course, in the vegetation and the seasonal differences. So the elephants here feed predominantly on just grass, almost constantly, whereas the elephants in Juma have to change between the seasons. So the elephants here are said to live a little bit longer, believe it or not, due to the fact that their teeth don't wear down as much as they would if they were eating branches and shrubs and bushes and things like that. So studies do say that the elephants in the Mara do live slightly longer than the elephants in South Africa. Elvis is asking, are elephants ever attacked by lions? Now, for starters, elephants absolutely hate lions. They are not a fan of the cats and they do not like to see them. And unfortunately, as brave as lions are, they will go for the young baby elephants. Now, in a herd like this, let me just scan and count. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I can see 11 in this herd that we're looking at. And for a lion to approach this herd would be very, very dangerous. But if it was able to get the baby singled out, or potentially a smaller sick one, a younger sick one, a lion absolutely would attack an elephant. But as with all sort of questions like that, the predator has to be aware that it's in danger too. Most animals do avoid conflict and they do avoid injury to themselves. But yes, lions will attack a baby elephant, especially the size of the one we've just seen here, which is a little bit out of our sight because it's gone behind the vehicle. Barb is asking a really interesting question because especially in South Africa, it's quite a hot topic actually. Out here in the Mara, it's slightly different because the landscape is so vast. It is two very, very different environments. But Barb is asking, is there anything that keeps the elephants in check? Now, there's a lot of people that think elephants are very detrimental to the environment. They're destructive. They knock down trees. They, create pathways that shouldn't be there. They are all sorts of things because of the sheer size of them, the amount that they move per day, and just generally how they knock down everything in their path. But that's not actually the case. The ecological role of these animals is to create channels, is to create pathways. I'm just going to turn so we can get a better view. And that's their purpose. So when they do knock down trees, it actually creates a different environment and allows other animals to feed on material that they wouldn't actually normally be able to feed on. How's that, Manu? Good. So they have got a really positive ecological role within the environment, and there's lots of experiments being done in South Africa. Now, there's sort of different sides to the fence here. I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm just saying this is sort of what has been done to control the populations. There was a sort of elephant cull that went on for a very long time. Someone decided on a number, and of course they just tried to keep the elephants to that number. And I do believe it was something around 7,500. Don't quote me on that. But it was something like that. So anything above that, they were culling the elephants, which was about 900 per year, I think. And that, of course, is not the answer. So there has been experiments with scientists trying to give male elephants vasectomies. So they're obviously trying to control the reproductive sort of success of elephants by making them not fertile. So the elephants will, of course, still mate as normal, but the female will not get pregnant. But that, of course, it's not practical at all. It's extremely costly. Can you imagine going through all the elephants and giving them a vasectomy? But I can see the idea that was coming. And there was actually a trial done where they gave female elephants contraceptives. So it was hormonal, it was hormone-based. And just like females, humans, I guess, they were trying to control ovulation, which meant the male and female could mate as normal, but the female, again, would not get pregnant. And as far as I know, this was not successful. It caused a bit of a hormonal mess within the females. It really toyed with their hormones, and it wasn't such a positive influence. So the last one was immunocontraception, and that's basically, it's not relying on sex hormones, so it's not relying on testosterone or estrogen, and it sort of uses proteins extracted from an egg, I believe, from female pigs. And basically when that is injected into an elephant, it fully successfully stops the sperm from binding to the egg. So these are the three methods that they've actually used to control elephant populations so far, but they're obviously still working on it, and whether or not it's necessary is still open to debate. So you can sort of debate that amongst yourself, but out here in the Mara it is a little bit different due to the huge vast amount of space. Now I believe Anne has asked, can I tell which one is the matriarch? And no, I can't. We've just been with this elephant herd for about 5, maybe possibly 10 minutes now, actually. And normally people say it's the largest. And yes, she normally is the largest, but not necessarily so. The matriarch is defined as the oldest and the most knowledgeable elephant. So she generally does tend to be the largest because she's the oldest, but it's really not possible for me to just pick out the matriarch right here without observing this herd and watching their sort of behaviour around one another. So like I said, I do feel this one over here, right next to the small young one, is the largest. Would you agree, Manu? Yeah, I think that's the largest in terms of size, but that by no means it is the matriarch. So the matriarch's role is obviously just to lead the herd from success to success and keep going through each lifetime. And it needs to keep these large elephants in check. Can you imagine if there was no one to keep these large animals in check, what would happen? And that's exactly what the matriarch does. So that was a lovely, lovely explanation on elephant control. But for now, I believe there's someone who wants to show you a much smaller animal.
We've just had the most cooperative squirrel. They dug in dung, they climbed up on trees, they mated, but sadly you didn't get to see any of that. You can now look at them through the brush packing at Twin Dams, and off they go. But luckily we've got some other content. I don't know how to turn my hand, Jandre, because the spider is sitting in a very strange angle. I have to do that to twist it. Look at this weird thing that was on the camera. Jandre found it. To me, it looks like some kind of a bark spider that is off to a party because it's got a hat on. That is so weird. That is part of the spider. And I've never seen a bark spider, if it is a bark spider. The camouflage just kind of resembles one, and that position that it's put itself, that's very sort of characteristic of a bark spider. But that sort of growth is interesting. Maybe it lives on a knobthorn tree and is trying to be an actual thorn on a knobthorn. It'd be quite cool though. Very interesting though. Not particularly pretty because it needs to camouflage itself, as you can imagine.
Put it right up against the lens.
Yeah, we can. I just don't know how I can control my arm. Tony, it's called a bark spider because it looks like a tortoise. No, I'm only teasing. It's called a bark spider because it blends in to a tree and it typically looks like a piece of bark. What? Please don't bite me. What is it doing? Now it really looks like the things from Starship Troopers. Jandre, I'm taking it off my hand. I don't want it on my hand anymore. I was brave. I normally only pick up jumping spiders. But no, Jandre, I don't like what it's doing. It's like it's getting ready to sink its fangs down into my finger. I'm taking my hand away. I'm going to release it now onto a piece of bark. So Tony, they're bleeding very well. No, don't bite me. Get off. Get off. There. Blend in. Let's see if you can see it now, Jandre. Yes. That was gross. No, run that side. Ah! Go there. Try to get me again. Can you see it? I was trying to encourage it to stay on the side that you could see it. That's pretty cool, though. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. That's really awesome. So the bark spiders normally get quite big. I'll show you now. Yeah, well, not massive. I mean, it's not going to be like a golden orb spider, but like a decent-sized coin, sort of around like that big. And they will normally come out at night. They're nocturnal. So for those of you that have ever been on a safari in the morning and you've been driving along and you've gone sort of into a forested area and you've covered yourself in webs, bark spider, because they haven't taken them down again. So they put a new web up every single evening. During the days, they'll just sit camouflaged on branches. Really pretty birds that often got quite a bit of orange. Sometimes they have orange and yellow and stuff underneath their body. I'm glad you all got a bit of a chuckle of me being scared of the spider. I don't mind the jumping spiders. They're chilled. They're fantastic. I'll have them all, not like the one time I put the caterpillars all over my face. I won't have jumping spiders all over my face, but I'll hold one. But Jandre just kind of gave it to me, and then the squirrels were going, so I was under pressure for content, and then that happened. So that's as brave as you'll ever see me. This gap gets narrower and narrower every time we drive it. Alice, yes. It does make your skin crawl. It makes my skin crawl too. Okay, so we found no elephants, none at Treehouse Dam, none at Twin Dams. So now what we will do is we will enter the Mulwati drainage system, dry riverbed for those of you that don't know what it is. And we're going to drive up it until we get to Mamba Road. And then we will drive Mamba Road. We're basically going to try and find Tlalamba, who is Tundi's daughter. She's a leopard. They're both leopards. So we'll just have a quick scratch around here and see if we can't find them. Maybe they'll pop out. One of them at least. And then no one found Tundi this morning, so we probably won't find her again this afternoon because it's Tundi. And she is only seen when she wants to be seen. That's just how it works. What's wrong with your face, Jandre? Lots. He was doing this. And looking at the FLIR thermal camera. Oh, that's so funny. Right. Where are we going to go? Oh, no, I just told you where we're going to go. But what are we going to look for is what I was supposed to say. I was supposed to say, what are we going to look for in the interim? Right, I don't know who we're going to. I think it's Sydney, though, and it sounds like he's Lauren. It's not Sydney. We're going to Lauren, and it sounds like she's moved on from the elephants and on to some antelope.
So we have a huge array of species in front of us right now. We're obviously looking at a topi. One of them was just suckling. We've just missed that, which was very adorable. We have got a huge range of buffaloes right in the distance and in front of us. And there is lots of Thompson's gazelles in there as well. I'll just let Manu give you the full view of all the antelope species we have here. It is incredible. So if we're able to go to the left, you can see the buffaloes. Right in the background there. There we go. And if we go even further around, we can see the very small Thompson's gazelles. And that just gives you a great idea of the size comparison between all these animals. Look at how small these ones are. These are some males. They're actually a lot smaller than I imagined them to be honest with you. I always thought these were bigger. But they're absolutely tiny compared to all the other antelopes. And if we're going to give you a view right into the distance, we can see just an absolute sea of buffalo. So this is an incredible place to be right now because, of course, there we go. Right over in the distance, very far from where we are right now. Look at that. It looks like trees, doesn't it, almost? You could probably mistake, well, me, especially with my eyesight, could probably mistake that for just being trees. And it's not. It's a huge sea of buffalo. So we're right in the heart where all these prey species are. We're getting a good view here of everything around us. So they obviously feel completely safe with one another. There's no sort of real competition or any threat between these species. And of course, it also benefits them. If there was a predator to come upon them, cheetah possibly, or even lions, of course they would be alerted automatically. As soon as one makes that sort of alarm call and starts running, they will all head for the hills. So it does benefit them to stick together like this. Look at that. Is that the wildebeest? Aha! Would you look at that? A little bit early, guys. And we have wildebeest. The first ones I have seen since being here. The Great Migration, here we are. No, I'm joking. It's not time for that just yet. But yeah, that is just another species that we have in front of us. Now, Rosalind was asking what is the smallest species of antelope that we have here. And I do believe it is indeed the Thompson's gazelle. It is, oh, what are these two doing? Are they fighting? You can just see some bottoms and some tails fluffing. Very possibly, or they were just feeding. But yes, the Thompson's gazelle are very, very small, and they're the smallest ones that we have here. Of course, the impala are quite dainty and small as well. We have impala here too, and many of them in Juma. But these Thompson's gazelle are much, much smaller than impala. They're very, very small and very cute. Look at that little face. And I can imagine it can't be an easy life for an antelope here, living in constant terror of the environment around you. But the good thing about the landscape here, it is very open. Now, the grass is getting much taller, which is making it much trickier for us to find the predators around here. But at this exact point where we are now, the grass is actually quite short, hence why all these animals are here. And yeah, of course, it's beneficial for the antelope to be able to see. And Murray just kindly reminded me of the duiker down in South Africa. That is definitely smaller than the impala down there. They're very small. And the steinbok. Yeah, they're very, very small little antelopes as well that are very difficult to catch on camera, because the minute you stop the vehicle, they are so afraid, of course, they just run away. They're really, really, really difficult for us to stop and talk about. So there's a huge, huge range of different antelope species, and I love just being able to look at the comparison out here, just between even the buffaloes themselves and then all the other antelopes. It's just phenomenal to be able to see the range and to see how they all sort of do tend to stick together. And this, of course, is exactly why they're here. The food source and the fact that it's a big open clearing and the grass is short. Now, lions definitely utilize long grass, so they will sneak up on unsuspecting prey and they might not even be seen at all because the grass completely hides them. So that's also terrifying if you are an antelope. So it's much more preferable to be out here in the open where you can see for miles, you can hear, and the grass really isn't long enough for any sort of predator to be lurking nearby without being seen. Oh, hello warthog, you've came to join the party. Man, I've lost count of how many different separate species we have here. Someone is saying what a majestic animal. And I don't actually know what animal you're referring to because I probably spoke about so many in the past few minutes. But indeed, they all are. They really all are when you spend time with them all, especially this trophy just walking gracefully across the grass here with the little warthog in the background. It is very funny when you're driving along the roads here and you just see these little ears spring up from the grass, and they're very dark ears. You know it's not a cat. And then all of a sudden, just like a bolt of lightning, the warthogs just take off. They've just been sitting there and obviously got a fright by sort of your arrival. And they just run and run and run or skip. It almost looks like they're skipping to escape you. It is rather comical at times. But it's nice of you to join, Mr. Warthog. But yes, it was the topis. The topis are very majestic, and you very often see them standing on top of mounds, termite mounds, and all sorts of mounds actually, and it's quite amusing. It's like, you know, hey, I'm the king of the castle here. I'm going to stand and pose on top of this mound for you all. But of course, it gives them a great viewpoint. Topis are a very popular selection of the lions out here. Large enough and easy enough to take down, and probably provides for a pride. The favourite is indeed buffalo, but that's much more of a challenge for the lions than indeed a topi would be. Oh, I could stay out here all day. It's so wonderful. We are getting some strange look from the buffalo though. I think they're telling us it's time to move. Go onwards with your original mission, people. So I don't think we're going to go any further this way. We are going to turn back around and continue to search the area that we've just came across for our original mission of trying to find some cheetah, which we hope happens. But for now, let's go back down to South Africa and see what Sydney is up to.
I am seeing a very interesting interaction between the two lilac-breasted rollers here. These two lilac-breasted rollers were just flying now, displaying what is called an acrobatic flight. They were flying very high and dive as if they're going to fall on the ground. I can see they're right now there close to each other. This is a beautiful sighting. The lilac-breasted rollers are part of those monogamous species. The species which are pair-bonded, which are, in other words, partners for life. If one of them dies, it's very rare for a partner to look for any other mate. Amazing, isn't it? Unfortunately, I am an opposite of a monogamous species, as I belong to a tribe which is very much polygamous. So these kind of birds, they've got also quite a lot of traditional beliefs. So the chiefs and kings, they used to sacrifice these birds in order to have peace in their areas. And apart from that, the birds can also be used to solidify the relationships. Because of their monogamous behavior, if you take their feathers and give it to those, the groom and the bride, during the traditional weddings, it is strongly believed that their relationship is going to be an ever-lasting relationship. Senzo is laughing here. Maybe he's going to get married soon. He is also part of those polygamous tribes. So these birds are so very much beautiful. Look at that. Listen to them when they're talking there. You can hear that. So these birds has got quite a lot of colors. So each one of them has got quite a lot of colors. Look at that. So when the sun is shining on them, you will see the different colors. So how they attract each other for mating is through a certain kind of a flight. That is a behavior where they are going to charm each other when flying up and acting as if they're going to hit the ground. So normally that is done shortly after the dry season is when they're starting to attract each other for mating purposes. And listen to that. So I can hear their calls. So the animals are very much clever. If you can check, at this stage, the animals are starting to, especially the big animals, impalas, they are starting to control the groups because they are aiming and preparing themselves for their breeding season. So these animals, yeah, the talks and the negotiations that are taking place between these two lilac-breasted rollers is difficult to pick it up from the mic, but I can hear them very well from here where I am. So I can hear that one of them is just talking, and the other one is not replying yet. Yeah, now they're talking to each other. Maybe the female is convinced now. So now let's quickly go back to Taylor with some elephants.
$100 to Ellie. I'm so sorry, everybody. I just took a big sip of water, which you may have heard, as Marie said live to me. I was waiting for the link. Right, we've got elephants. You found the animal we've been looking for, except they're not splashing around at the water. Oh, well, here they are. And when we first arrived, there were just two, but now I can see a couple more moving out. It doesn't seem to be a particularly massive breeding herd, maybe not the size that you were looking at in the Mara with Lauren, but that's all right. Well, it actually could end up being quite big because they just materialize out of all these bushes. It's so thick up here. But there's a little one copying Mum and eating off of every plant that she does. Shouldn't really hear too much ambience. The wind is not particularly helping the situation today. But as they move closer and they are feeding sort of in our direction, which is perfect, maybe we'll hear something. But right now you're probably just going to hear something like that. Is that what the wind sounds like, Chandra? Exactly. Thank you very much. Chandra's very good for my ego. He motivates me to be a better person. No. But anyways, you can see she's secreting slightly just behind her eye. That's sort of quite prominent and stands out, quite obvious if you're wondering what that is. That is a temporal gland. All elephants have it. And they'll secrete a substance from there. It's normally like an overstimulation of adrenaline, so it could mean a variety of things, whether they're sad, happy, hungry, annoyed that the 2-for-1 special on marulas is finished, you name it. Lots and lots of different things could cause this. We typically see it in the winter months with most individuals within a herd due to the stress of not being sufficient food around and them having to eat bark. But at this time of the year, I wonder if it's with all the big elephant bulls that are in mass that are hanging about. It could also cause quite a bit of stress to a herd. Every time I've heard the musk bull approaching a breeding herd, or actually normally it's like not even anywhere near the breeding herd, they start trumpeting and run away. Judy, sure. Well, I suppose elephants are particularly sophisticated, but no, I wouldn't say that if an elephant couldn't reproduce that they'd be shunned from the herd. I don't think so. Again, I've never noticed something like that, and I think it would be very... Sorry, did you see that fly that was hanging around my face? I gave it a warning shot, and look how it's gone now. If you do that, if you ever have a problem with flies, if you live in Australia, it's going to be a problem because you'll just be doing this your whole life. But anyways, so sorry, Judy. I think it would be very, very difficult to gauge something like that. I mean, maybe if you're watching the same breeding herd and you're in it within a closed ecosystem, so a fenced off reserve, not quite like this, and you notice over 5 years an elephant didn't give birth, or maybe you were there for over 10 years and this elephant had never given birth, and you saw that behavior, then yes. But otherwise, no. Shanda, you know what I'll do is I'll reverse for you. Are you happy to... Oh, I can roll back. Look at that. Only to that point, though. Very nice. So here's some more cows and youngsters filtering out of the silver cluster leaf forest that they seem to be in. We're now in between the elephants, which is my favorite. They're very chilled. They're very relaxed with us. I only say that because they're super relaxed with us and they don't seem to be bothered by our presence. Even my fly swatting did not deter the elephants. If the elephants were right on top of us, it's not advisable to clap like that. Don't do that. That's not a good idea. Oh, wonderful. Now, I went for a run today, a very short one with Nikki because I was lazy and I was exhausted, and Nikki's super fit, and we saw a jackal, and that's exactly what Lauren has.
we found one of my fast becoming favourite animals out here, just randomly in amongst the grass, surrounded by all the other animals we've been talking about, is of course the jackal. And I was kind of been looking around, sniffing the ground, following some butterflies, possibly even chasing some insects. It's been very amusing, but we haven't actually seen it pounce or catch anything. Now, of course, we've had some very interesting encounters with jackals so far here. Looks like it was having a little nibble on the ground there. And they are just fast becoming my number ones. These fearsome, brave, hilarious animals. I'm sure many of you caught the encounter with the lapid-faced vulture the other day. It went on a very long time, much longer than the little clip showed, and the jackal just wouldn't give up. It really wanted to pinch those tail feathers, and it just kept trying to bite the poor vulture's bum. And of course they were just spinning around in circles, and it genuinely looked like, in all honesty, that the jackal just wanted to play. When you watched its behaviour and exactly how it was behaving towards the vulture, it just looked like it wanted to play. It wasn't aggressive or fearsome. It just thought, I'm going to just annoy this vulture today. That is what I'm going to set out to do, and it did. It was quite the encounter. These jackals are just wonderful animals. I just think they're absolutely fantastic out here and extremely resourceful. It's off. It's got a new mission. They're far faster than they look. You blink and you can actually miss a jackal, but luckily the grass is shorter here, as I mentioned earlier, so it's actually far easier to keep track of them. I wonder where he's off to. Where are you headed? Okay, I spoke so soon, now we've lost track of it. Well, there we go. I did speak too soon, as usual. Ripperan is asking, is jackals the smallest predator that we see here in the Mara? Well, it depends kind of how you're looking at that. So if you're just looking at the order Carnivora, which are obviously all carnivores, all feeding on one another, then you get... That's what you were looking for, your friend. Then, of course, we get far, far, far smaller ones. Even mongoose are much smaller. But if you're talking about the main predators and the sort of top chain predators, as in your... I think I got the question wrong. Is it the most common one? That's a very difficult question to answer. We do see them a lot, so it's one of the most common ones that we have here, one of the most common predators. But is it the most common? I'm probably not sure I can absolutely 100% say that it is, but it definitely is one of the most common. I think I have seen one on almost every drive that I have been on so far. I thought you were saying the smallest. I do apologise. They're far more easier to come across than the likes of your cats out here. And of course, we've gone from a very small animal to a large one, just right on our left-hand side. Rocket is saying the beautiful Mara has it all, and indeed it has. We literally can't just drive without spotting something. And although we do have missions, and of course we like to find the sort of animals that are well known and the predators here for you, sometimes it is good to just stop and take a look around at all the other animals. And of course, Pat was trying to find these sausages for you this morning, but that did go a little bit wrong. The Sausage Republic, if you want to call it, is actually one of the trickiest areas when it has been raining, and it's been raining a lot recently, hence why poor Patrick did get stuck. And of course, I am on my mission today for the cheetahs, and this is prime cheetah area, which is why we're here. But we're just going to keep stopping along the way and see exactly what other things we come across. So we are going to move on, continue our search. We do have what looks like rain approaching on our right hand side there. Manu's just going to show you. Look at that lovely dark cloud. Not sure it will reach us, depending on which way it's moving, but if it does, rain terrifies me here now. Rain means muddy, swampy grounds, which potentially means getting stuck. And from this morning's experience, well, I think we're all slightly traumatized by that, to be honest. So I am going to continue on. Joshua's asking about the marshmallow crown. No, absolutely not. Manu has it, 100%. I was with Manu. We were partnering up to rescue Patrick, and our situation, shall I call it, was far worse than Patrick's was. And do you know the reason Manu's laughing is because we were so happy that we actually managed to get Patrick out. We were so joyous, and we were concentrating on avoiding the area where Patrick got stuck, that we of course didn't see the huge puddle on the other side, and we went right into it. And I'm not sure I actually managed to say this earlier, but we did actually take 4 hours to get ourselves out. There's Manu's hand, just emphasising the fact 4 hours. 2 cameramen, 2 presenters, and it took 4 hours to actually get out. So no, Joshua, the crown goes to Manu. Definitely not Patrick. He's escaped this one, and I am still free of any incidents. So touch wood. Oh, there's no wood in here, that it doesn't happen. Okay, so we're going to continue on. We definitely have got a little bit to go in order to complete our mission. We want to get up ahead as far as we can go and see if there's any cheetah around before darkness comes and before rain comes. That is exactly what we're wanting to avoid. What gear have I gone into? There we go, that's much better. Now, cheetah, just to give you a bit of background on them, they actually prefer open plains. It is literally the perfect environment for them. I'm just scanning as I'm talking. Whereas lions and leopards enjoy stalking up on animals, creeping up, and the element of surprise. So they will be in sort of different areas for their hunting techniques, but cheetahs absolutely love environments like this and wide open plains. So our search continues on, but while we do this, let's send you back down to my friend Sydney.
I have got a very beautiful sighting of the grey go-away bird. This is what is called the grey lorry. You can see the easiest way to distinguish the grey lorry from other birds is to check the crest. What the grey lorry is doing now is grooming. So this grey lorry, when I got here, was doing what is called a sunbathing. You can see now that the grey lorry is even using the small beak. That small beak is suitable for fruit eating. So this is one of those that are called the frugivores. Some other people, they call them frugivores. The frugivores are the animals who feed on fruits. And then you will have the piscivores, which are the animals that eat fish. And then you will have also the carnivores, which eat meat, and herbivores, which eat the vegetation. So now, what I want to talk about here, which is interesting, is one of the behaviors we have witnessed when we got here, which was called the sunbathing. This bird is trying to get rid of the parasite. You can see what it's doing now. And this, what it's doing, is called, sometimes when 2 birds are cleaning each other, is called allopreening. This is what is called preening. These birds, at the back here, by the close to their cloaca, on top, they have got what is called a uropygeal gland. Uropygeal gland is a gland which gives them an oily stuff which is there in order to look after these feathers and act as a waterproof. That is why when it's raining, some of these birds, they don't get wet because their feathers are well protected by the uropygeal gland. Look at that. This is amazing. Eh? Look at how rapid this bird is busy scratching against the side of the face. Sometimes birds, they come to the ground. A grey lorry, that is true. This is the grey lorry, and is one of those birds who are very much good when it comes to the alarm calls. They do inform the other animals when there are predators around. So these birds sometimes, not only specifically the grey lorry, some other birds, they come to the ground and and play with the ants and provoke the ants suddenly and make the ants to release what is called a formic acid. A formic acid is a chemical ants they secrete when they are not happy, and that chemical is needed by the birds in order to act as an antiparasitic to chase away the parasites. That is very much interesting because the birds are so intelligent. They come to the ground to provoke an insect. Insect will get angry and give them what they want. Yes, the grey lory is an old name, as all these birds, they've got old names and new names. But, oh, we have got another bird there in front. I think there's a hornbill. So the grey lory is called a grey go-away bird now. So the go-away bird is coming from the noise because they call like, go away, go away, go away. So it's like, go away. So that is where this name, go-away bird, derived from. Lynn, I am not too sure specifically the reason why they rename birds, but not only birds, even trees. At the moment, the trees also, some of them, they have got new names. So I think it's because of maybe new discoveries or because of the behavior the birds are displaying, which is amazing for the people to read. Maybe they are changing the names because of that. I'm not too sure specifically the reasons why the birds are changing names. But some other things I know is that some of the birds, they are now falling under the different families from previous. And after the new research, there's always new outcomes, which will then fit birds on different categories. So it's like trees. There are some also who are now falling under the other categories where they were not there before. So you can see by that dead tree, there is quite a lot of different species. I even saw the glossy starling. There was even a hornbill as well there. So they're using that very nice dry branch in order to bask the sun and chase the parasites. Birds are so interesting. They don't fly on the road. They can go long distances, but they know how to get back to their nest. And coming back to their nest, they can even do it after a very long distance of migration. These birds, they do form part of three types of migration, which is the palearctic migration. These birds will leave South Africa to Europe and come back after the summer season, before the summer season or by the beginning of summer here in South Africa. The ones that don't want to travel long distances, they do what is called intra-migration. Intra-migration is a continental migration. These birds can only roam around the same continent. And we have got altitudinal migration where they will have to use high altitude and migrate to low altitude and from low altitude to the high altitude according to their special preference. So you can see at this stage there is quite a lot of variety of birds because the conditions and the fruits and the other food, types of food are available. Because what motivates migration is the availability of food, the high temperatures, and when the trees are losing leaves, the predation becomes high, and during winter season, there's too much parasitism. So the birds must have to go away in order to get this. Good example is hibernation. The birds that normally eat the snakes, they are snow snakes during the winter season. So it means they must have to go to where the snakes are available. Insectivores that eat insects must go to the areas where the insects are available. Piscivores, fish, they hide during the winter season. So you can see birds, they adapt according to the seasonal changes. So now let's quickly go back to one of my colleagues.
Yes, we do. All thanks to my friend from Nkoro, Peter Ki. But you guys have to call him Peter. Only I can call him Peter Ki. So we have a leopard up on the tree. And it is suspected to be Kuchava. She had a quick look at us, and now she's looking the other way. But it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't her, because she has been hanging around in this area for quite some time now. And actually in the last couple of days, in fact. She hasn't moved very far from where we had her 2 days ago, was it? 2 days? 3 days ago? So that's pretty awesome. And it's quite nice to see that her territory is shifting slightly. Just dangling away there. We're going to have to start calling her Marula. Kuchava the Marula cat, because she's forever in marula trees. But no kill. Can you see anything, Jandre? No. She just seems to enjoy having a bit of a siesta up there. But if I am wrong, if this is maybe Tandi and I've misidentified her, please correct me. I love being corrected. It's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. You can hashtag SafariLive, or you can embarrass me on the YouTube chat. You can choose whichever way you'd like to do it. And it's a pity that I wish that cloud would get out of the way, hey, Jandre? So we have a nice blue background instead of a grey, boring... It doesn't really enhance the colours of a leopard. But oh well, we'll take what we can get. Hopefully the wind will blow the clouds away. Well, that's the idea behind it anyways. But just having a nice little siesta. So now we know when we come to Chitwa and we drive around here, we will have to check all the trees and not bother looking down on the ground, especially between the hours of, I would say, about 11 to about 5 p.m. And then she'll probably move and go back down. But very nice to see, though. Kimberly, you said you see spots. Well done. So you can see spots and rosettes here, because, you know, leopard's got both of them. They like to wear all the fashion accessories. Can you please look at us and open your eyes, leopard? It would be very nice. Does James Richard agree and say that this is Kuchava? I'm waiting for him. Please look at us. Please look at us. No, this cat won't look towards us. There's only one set of 3 spots that I can see right now. I'm pretty sure it's Kuchava. Look at how dirty the cat is. Hey, that's unusual. Look at all that hair. Normally they're sleek and beautiful. And I think I commented this the last time when we saw her, that she didn't look particularly well groomed. Look at that. You can see how sort of the... Oh, Paula, you said that apparently Tandi was on Cheetah Plains last night. That's funny because Dylan Leospith told me that Kuchava walked through camp, through Chitwa camp. So I think Tandi might have been around here as well. But I know for a fact that Kuchava actually went and she tried to get dinner from the kitchen, and the staff turned her away. So that happened, which is maybe why she's sitting up here sulking in the tree. Yes, look here. No, look this way. I like that there's that one little branch under her belly. That cannot be comfortable. Surely that can't be very comfortable, that position right there. Anyways, it's just interesting that this feline seems to be fairly ungroomed. It's so unlike them. Normally when they sort of sick and ill, and again, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with this cat, it's just they spend a fair amount of their day grooming themselves. Maybe because she hasn't had anything to eat for some time? I don't know. She's just been on the go constantly. And it doesn't matter what you look like when you go shopping. That's how I look at it, because I'm not going to buy new clothes anyway. I'll wear the old ones. Very nice. You can hear another vehicle coming on into the sighting. Kimberly, that's a fantastic comment. You said that Tandi often looks grumpy. I have not seen her face once. Ah, thank you, James. Thank you. Good job. I'm going to have to actually send you a part of my salary, James, for all the hard work that you do to me, or a Christmas present or a birthday present or something along those lines. You have to pop me your address. Chandra said he'll pay for the shipping. No, really, you do help us a lot. All of you, all of the help with the IDing. Good job. It's fantastic. What's that, Chandra? What's this here? He's hiding his banana peel away, because I have to be careful. I'd rather keep it in front of me because I don't know where that's going to go. It will end up on my head. Now we've got everybody watching us. I get nervous when people in the vehicles next to me watch me. Very nervous. I have to whisper it and I'm hiding away. Izanami, no. It sounds like Kuchava's cubs are not alive anymore. She hasn't been seen with them. Nobody has commented on any prominent suckle marks. So, sadly, I think she's probably lost them. You know, it's really tough for the leopards out here. There's this really, really high hyena density out here. Never mind also the other amount of leopards and lions. Although, no, actually, I don't think we can say the lion population is pretty good in the Sabi Sand at the moment. Hello, beautiful. And that's why she's my favourite leopard. Look at those eyes. Lovely light. Good opportunity for screenshots this afternoon. So, yeah, so it's very sad. And, again, we can't call her a bad mother. We can't say any of those things. She's got so much against her when she has young cubs. It's really, really hard for them. And she's also fairly young. That was her second attempt. That was her second litter. And so that's kind of to be expected for such a young leopard. She'll get better. She'll just have to keep trying. Look at Amber Eyes, the lion, for example, how many attempts she's had at trying to raise cubs, and that's not been successful either. So it is tough. But girl, I'm worried. Why are you not cleaning yourself? Put a brush through that hair. That's what I can hear my mother saying that to me. Taylor, brush your hair. It's untidy. I'm going to be like, if Tundi was here, she'd have to say that. Because if you didn't know, Tundi is Kuchava's mother as well. This is her first offspring. Hey, Kuchava, you're going into a lovely lady, but you do need to keep yourself looking nice and good. You need to keep that fur slick. Well, something we are not experiencing this afternoon is beautiful skies because the grey clouds keep ruining our shots. Lauren's having no problem with that. And I have to say, they are more beautiful in the Mara.
Yes, well, we have been rather spoilt for choice with animals, haven't we? So we thought we would give you a full landscape view of what we are seeing right in front of us right now. We're actually quite high up in our search for cheetahs, and look at that. You can see the full view that we are seeing in front of us right now, and it's incredible. It's a mixed sky. We've sort of got sunshine breaking through, but the clouds are definitely rolling in and bringing something slightly nasty, but it's still absolutely beautiful. We thought we'd take a break from stealing all the animals. But Kuchava, what a naughty girl coming into camp, my goodness. She is, of course, a leopard that I think is the most beautiful. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so don't shout at me. I just personally think she's absolutely stunning. Her eyes just, I just melt when I see them. But what a naughty girl coming into camp, huh? So yes, look at our wonderful magical sky right in front of us. We almost drove past and then we thought, no, let's stop and let's take a look. The weather is, of course, changing in front of us, and we did hear a little rumble of thunder, which isn't exactly what we want to hear, but we're going to continue on. We're actually moving away from it, which is good news. And we're not giving up on our search for our type of spotted cat. A little bit different from the type that Taylor is sitting with, of course. So for now, we have another very, very small carnivore with Sydney. So let's go and check it out.
Look at that. I've got a very beautiful sighting here right next to us. We just accidentally come across this mongoose here. It was quite a lot of them outside. What we are seeing now is the smallest carnivore. Look at that. So this is so cute. So by this smallest carnivore, it is interesting because you find that after birth, the little ones, they have got high ranks. And they even fight for dominance. Look at that. This is so amazing. They fight for dominance and right for food. Look at how this one is sniffing. He's trying to pick up the scent from where I am. This is quite a beautiful nose. Look at that. So here we have got the responsible female with an alpha male who are just responsible for breeding. And sometimes if there is another pregnancy from any other member, possibilities, look at that. The possibilities of the alpha female to kill the babies are very much high. So they can infanticize. So look at that. So the other ones must be in there because it's quite a very big group. I saw them, they were outside just now. Angel, unfortunately here by the wild, we don't take anything. Even if it's a feather from a bird, if we find it, we talk about it and we leave it there. So we cannot take these cute animals away. They are here to act as flowers of nature. So it means you are owing a visit to South Africa to come and see the dwarf mongoose here in Djuma Game Reserve. So this kind of mongoose can be able to survive much long. So they can go even up to 8 years, but they reach maturity when they are just about 100 days, the females. So, but because of the social pressure, they can be able to mate just when they're before 3 years. Look at that. So you can see that the hairs, they can make these kind of small carnivores camouflaged. Look at that. Look at those ears. And how they even got the whiskers. And this is a spectacular sighting. So they can also predate birds. They can be able to take, oh, this is another one. Look at that. Another one is also sticking out the head there, doing the same, trying to investigate. So they are very much gregarious. So the mongoose, I have never seen the mongoose climbing trees, but yes, sometimes when they want to catch something, they can try. So because some of the trees you can find that the tree has been pushed down by the elephant and there is some of the birds that are in there and they want to access that. You will see mongoose likes to go and hide by the dead trees. If there's a hole between the stem of a tree, they can also stay in there. So they can be able to climb the fallen trees. So it's interesting to see an animal which has got a hierarchy which is reversed based, where the little ones has got high ranks, old ones don't have high ranks as the little ones. So now let's go back to Taylor with Kuchava.
So we're still sitting here with Kuchava and she still won't look at us. I tried to get Jandre to sing to entice her to look at us, but not even his singing would help. No, I mean, he's joking, we didn't do anything like that, but I am warning you now, if she does turn to us, I will be taking one illegal photograph, because I think the last time I was actually able to photograph Kuchava, where I first fell in love with her, was on Cheetah Plains, and that must have been early 2017. Turn. And I was so fortunate to watch her. I don't know if any of you even remember that sighting. Some of you will, but we followed her for ages. We came across her in afternoon safari, and she was sort of giving us the slipperooski through the grass. Then she found herself a monitor lizard, and she thought she'd try and eat that. And then it gave her a whipping, quite literally, and it was really cool because we got this all live. And then after she got the whipping, she thought, probably going to skip that snack. And she carried on walking. And then she walked and she scent marked up against trees. She posed perfectly on termite mounds. It was the most amazing sighting. It really, really was. And then we didn't really see her very often. Every now and then. We had that crazy sighting, who remembers, with the Styx pride of lions that came charging in when Kuchava had the kill, or she had a Dacre kill under a fallen tree here on Chitwa, and she was chuffing. She was trying to call her cub out. Thank goodness the cub didn't come out. So that was a crazy sighting too. And then we had, when we saw the new little one, not the new one from this last litter, but her first cub, and we got to see that very, very briefly. So yeah, that was the last time. So that would have been mid-2018, the last time that I got to take an actual picture of her in a tree with a kill. So it would be very nice if she did turn and look at us. But it's lovely now. You can see we've got the blue sky, so it's making for a much better backdrop for your screenshots, and the sun is dropping. Nico, someone from Niconico who's watching has asked about who Kuchava's father is. Probably Mvula. At the time, Mvula was the sort of dominant male back in 2014 or so. So probably even earlier than that, he was around. So it could have been him. It could have been one of the other male leopards too. It's kind of hard to say, but let's go with Mvula. I don't know. Are there any other sort of suspects as to who it could have been? Chandra? No. It's very difficult to say. So I'm going to go with Mvula. So if you don't know who Mvula was, Mvula used to be the dominant male leopard. He was beautiful. He was a stunning, stunning cat. And he really showed himself in his last couple of years before, and sadly, he passed away, which wasn't too long ago, in fact. We don't know the exact date. He just kind of vanished and we never saw him again. But he was enormous. He did what Tingana is doing. Sort of now in his older age, you can really see how massive he is. That dewlap is showing nicely. So yeah, but she's sound asleep. She does not even twitching at the moment. That is beautiful. I need to learn some markings on her elbows, on her legs, because I never seem to see her face straight away. I always just seem to see her legs dangling from trees. So what pattern can we find on her body? We'll need one on either side so that I can write down. Oh, that's quite interesting. Jandre, do you see that one? It kind of looks like it's 4 dots surrounding a rosette. Can you see that? Just sort of where her hip would be. There we go. So that's quite an interesting. Well, she has a smiley face too, just to the right, to the left of the stick. She's got a smiley face, kind of like Tingana. Tingana's got a smiley face on, I can't remember, one of his shoulders. I can remember that. On her right side, she has a smiley face near her hip. What else have we got there? So this is how we sort of try and identify leopards. One of the very many ways, because as you've seen, they don't always show you their face, and it can be particularly difficult to then try and identify them. So we look for any kinds of unique markings, scars, little patterns. I don't know, has somebody seen something interesting that I haven't seen? You can let me know. You can still hashtag SafariLive or comment away on the YouTube stream. I don't know, that smiley face stands out, and then the sort of 4 dots surrounding the rosette. That's quite unique. Very nice. She's a long tail. Not as long as the Sri Lankan leopards, though. If there was a Sri Lankan leopard in a tree, the Pantheropardus cortea, her tail would be almost on the floor. It'd be like the Rapunzel of leopards, but with a tail. Yes, Roshni, I totally remember that. That was the longest, I think, hunt ever recorded. No, I'm joking. I'm just making up a fake statistic now. But basically what Roshni's talking about was one day we found Mvula and he was on a bit of a patrol. Oh, there's the face. Everybody, snap away. I have to, guys. I'm so sorry because she's so beautiful. Please forgive me. I will post this photo so you can all see how lovely she is. Thank you. Oh, look at that face. Now can you all see why I was so desperate to get a picture of her? It's just because in case I forget again what she looks like, now I have a reference on my camera. Is that a good excuse, Chandra? No, is that the worst one you've heard? Oh, well. Oops. Anyway, so there's my illegal photography done for the afternoon. I'll do sneezes next, if no one's careful. So what was I saying? Oh, we were talking about Mvula. So Mvula, this male leopard we were just talking about, we followed him, and then all of a sudden, right before the end of drive, he sat down in the afternoon, and, oh, big yawn. And we couldn't work out what he was doing that evening. We didn't know if he was stalking something, if he was just resting. Anyways, the show ended. Guess what? We went back there in the morning safari, and he was still waiting at that spot. Then he was sort of inching forward every now and then, and he was sort of sitting quite stiff and clenching all of his muscles. So we knew that there was something in the ground. I think we stayed there the entire game drive. I think we were there for 3 hours, and that cat was waiting for the warthog to come out. So this poor warthog now knows that there's a leopard sitting right outside its burrow. He was also quite desperate. And anyways, we then left. We stayed for a little bit longer after the drive had finished, and I think it was middle of the day. One of the Buffelshoek landowners was there, and they watched the whole thing happen. The warthog came out. He got a big cut on him. Remember that? He got a cut. He didn't catch the warthog. The warthog got away. But that was an exceptional sort of stalking, because what cat stalks for well over 10 hours? Probably 12 hours he was sitting there. Pretty impressive. Amazing. So they were patient creatures. But as they get older, they have to be a lot more patient. Whereas a young leopardess like this, like Kuchava, probably wouldn't spend 10 to 12 hours waiting out of one warthog hole. She'll probably go take her chances elsewhere. Oh, you're a beautiful girl. And she's got lovely teeth too. I mean, often we see leopards with, chipped teeth. She seems to have all hers intact. You better be taking lovely screenshots here. Vivi, yes, I do think that Kuchava is slightly bigger than Thandi. Thandi's a very small cat. She's like really little, and she's petite. Shall we call Thandi petite? Kuchava's not quite as big as Shidulu. Shidulu is one of the bigger female leopards around here, and Sibuya is not enormous, but she's quite staunch. She's got some sort of muscle tone on her. She's like a boxer. I don't know. So that's what Sibuya sort of reminds me of. And I would say Kuchava and Sibuya are about the same size. They're not massive cats, but they're not tiny and petite like Thandi is. What are you looking at? She's gazing back towards Chitwa Dam now. And we know that there's often a lot of antelope around Chitwa Dam, from Inyala to Impala. There's lots of baby waterbuck at the moment. And if she's anything like her mother, she might have a taste for waterbuck. Because Thandi, in her youth, I say youth, that was just like 2 years ago. She's known to take down fully grown female waterbuck. And it's quite funny because Tamba, her son, so basically Tlalamba's older brother, if you remember that one time we were on bushwalk, I was with Herbie, I can't remember who was on camera with me, and we found Tamba on a fully grown kudu cow kill. So even though Thandi is little, she seems to have very feisty genetics. And that hopefully that passes down to all her offspring. Well, it did to Tamba, that's for sure. Kuchava, I'm trying to think what the biggest thing she's taken down. She's quite secretive, and that's exactly what her name means. It's sort of skittish, shy. Not anymore, though. She's completely relaxed now. Hey, big girl. Oh, I just want to take a photo. It's so beautiful. It's really nice. I can't tell you how great the leopard viewing experiences are here in Africa, and specifically the Sabi Sandfontein. It is just out of this world. After traveling so much and going to places, I don't know if you can compare the leopard viewing to what we see in the Sabi Sand in South Africa. There's just so many. I mean, it's not uncommon, to have, if we had to take the entire northern Sabi Sands in one game drive on a good day, you probably have like between 10 and 12 different leopard sightings. And on the show, we can quite easily put 2 or 3 leopards. So that's pretty cool. Wow. You're going to climb down, girl? You're just going to sit up there? Probably just going to sit up there. So Murphy has just mentioned what Kuchava's name means, but I shall repeat it for you. Kuchava typically means skittish or shy, nervous. She was a little bit of a nervous Nelly around the vehicles, but like I said, she's settled down sufficiently now, and she's not nervous at all. I still find that when you approach her, you've got to go extra slow, and maybe in comparison to other leopards, but oh, hello girl. Now she's going to walk. I have a scratch. She's going to demonstrate her agility now. Down you come. And maybe she'll be kind and she'll climb down this side of the tree, but she's very itchy at the moment. She's having a big scratch. Probably not as easy to do something like that from where she was. Oh, don't fall now. That also looks very comfortable. Yeah, she's sort of staring right at the dam, so hopefully she'll lead us there. Zachary, I'm not sure exactly when she lost her cub. I mean, she's only had that cub fairly recently. Oh, we were on the wrong side. Sorry, Shine. Oh, no, turn, girl. No, she's going to pose nicely there. Seems like she's taking after Quarantine, who's also known to be a poser in a tree. Anyways, that's all right. At least the guests have got the nice for you. That's important too. So if she's only lost that cub a couple of weeks ago, probably in a few more weeks, she might come into estrus again. A month or two. But we'll have to wait and see till she vanishes and we know she's off mating with someone. Kuchava, can you come through this gap though? Please. I always ask the animals just in case one day they understand me. I wonder what's bugging her though. Huh, get it? And there she goes. Big jump. Wonderful. Right. Well, we're going to try and get around before she decides to disappear. If we go across to Sydney to see what he's been up to after his wonderful mongoose sighting.
I've got something here which is very much interesting and looking very good. I'm just going to get off the vehicle here to show you. Just look at this. This is amazing. Look at all these grasses here where I am and their reflections. Look at this. So is this not beautiful? So this grass has got a name, and this name is associated with one of the animals. So this is called a cat's tail grass. So if you look at this, it looks more like a cat's tail. Look at that. So this is like it has been designed. It's a lovely tail. So I'm just going to come much closer. I'll just pick up another one so that Senzo can see them very nicely. Look, just look at this. This is a very nice inflorescence. Inflorescence is this part of the grass. So this inflorescence is more like the tail of the cat. Look at the hairs. This is beautiful. So you can see now it's blown a little bit by the wind. So okay, so we're just going to carry on now. I wanted just to show you this very beautiful view of the cat's tail grasses. So anything and everything here in the bush is just beautiful. So now we are going to try and do a follow-up on some of the tracks which has been seen this morning somewhere around the Elephant Skull Road. There was a leopard track which was spotted during the morning game drive, and we are not sure if that animal is still around there or not. So I'm going to also do a check around that area. Maybe we might be lucky with one of the big animals. So this side here where I am now, I can promise you, is so very much thick. For a cat, it's not easy unless the cat is just moving around. But here on the ground, there is nothing, there is no sign at all. So you can see now that these kind of areas here where I am is recovering. So it has been raining a lot. When it's raining, at the same time, you can also see the possibilities of heavy fires at the same year. Too much rain is telling you the grasses are overgrowing, and when there's too much grass, there's too much fuel in order to facilitate heavy fires. There's just quite a lot of antelope tracks here on the ground. Not even a hyena track. This is something very rare. Not even a hyena track here. The inflorescence of the grasses here smells like the allets. Allets are the reproductives of the termites. They smell like this, the ones that fly from the termite mounds. Yeah, this inflorescence is smelling exactly the same like the allets. Caleb, black leopard sighting is not something I have heard about here around the Kruger National Park, but yes, it's something that we have heard people talking, and there is quite a lot of stories associated with these black pantheras. Some people are saying it is not real, it's a mythical story, but some are saying the black panthera, it used to occur, because also where I come from in Venda, there's even an area where that black panthera long time ago is associated with. So, but here around the Kruger National Park, the only rare species of the panthera is the white lions. The white lions is the one that sometimes they do get spotted here in some of this area, which are not very far away from here where we are. So the squirrels are very much quiet these days because those are the ones who are responsible to give us updates mostly. But these days I'm not hearing them a lot. So here where I am, I'm just going to first concentrate around the tree house dam so that we can see if these animals are not planning to go and drink there. What I like about this area at the moment is that the much more eastern side of the reserve, it doesn't have quite a lot of temporary potholes which has got water. So at least this forces the animals to go to the specific water holes, because when the water is just everywhere, the animals such as cats don't mind just drinking anywhere and everywhere. So they don't only go to the big water holes. They don't mind drinking here on the road. So at least this side, there's no much potholes. But going much more west, there is quite a lot of potholes there where animals can drink. Instead of going to the proper water holes, they can just drink there by themselves. So we're going to approach the tree house dam from the hyena den. Maybe we might be lucky there around the hyena den. So when going to the hyena dens, we must always expect unexpected, because we have witnessed before a lion attacking these hyenas at one of the old dens, because they do bring food. They bring back the meat to the den, which attract other animals. So we might get there and find something else instead of the hyenas. Yeah, the air I am breathing here is so very much fresh. I can see that these kind of trees here, they are contributing a lot towards absorption of the carbon dioxide. This is a very clean environment. So there was, I've just seen that bird just flew away just now. It was one of those beautiful big cuckoos. So by this time of the year, it's not easy to pick up the noise from far because the wind and the noise from the trees when the wind is blowing is very much high. So here it means I've got to work very hard. Look at that. You can see there's a hornbill there. The hornbill was just busy dispersing the elephant dungs. So the hornbills, they can feed on some of the dangerous animals. Hornbills, oh, look at that now. Oh, he was just doing something. Hornbills can also eat scorpions. I've seen them doing that before. So we'll see them rubbing the scorpion against the ground, and after that they eat. So now here, they were busy trying to disperse the elephant dungs, because by the elephant dungs, they can get also things such as beetles there. They can get even the termites and other insects. So you can see now that hornbill is out again. So the hornbills are one of those well-gifted birds because they can be able to use their beaks in order to thermoregulate temperatures. When the temperature is too hot, they don't necessarily go and do the water bathing to cool down the bodies. They can be able to use just their own beaks. They can use their own beaks. The beaks has got quite a lot of veins, which helps, muscular veins, which helps them in order to get rid of the heat. So you can see how they are using that beak. Look, now he's doing the dust bathing. Look at that. Let's see what he's thinking. Maybe he's going to go to that little hole there. So look at that. This is now the dust bathing. Look at that. So when seeing you can see, look at that. This is amazing. So you can see they're digging. So when digging, you might find that they're digging the termite, the ants. They're digging the ants so that they can be able to rub against, as I indicated earlier. Look at that. This is something very special. So now let's go back to Taylor and hear what's going on with Kuchava.
So, Kuchava is hiding for good reason, but a reason that we've, just uncovered, which is pretty epic. So she didn't look particularly fat up in that tree, but this maybe explains why she hasn't groomed herself. This is because she's been feasting. She ate, and then she wanted to sleep, and now she's eating again. So it's not great because you can see the branch there in front of her face. John, did you know if I ram the small little branches, if I bend them slightly, you can get a shot without that? Would you prefer that? It would be. Okay, everyone, we're just going to reposition and I'll tell you more. The reason why is if I go a little bit further forward, I can't roll this, so I'm going to start up again. Like that, look. That's much better. There we go. So now we don't have that branch in the way. So it sounds like Kuchava has killed herself a daker, which is a small antelope that roams around by the 100 in this area. There's so many, except Hosana did a good job at cleaning the population up at Vuatelepan. If you've been watching on the dam cam a few months ago, you would have seen him. He was just catching daker after daker after daker. And that's actually perfect for a leopard on her own, especially a female, because she'll feed on it for a full day, maybe a day and a half, probably just 24 hours or so. And she doesn't have to worry about other predators really coming by because it's such a small meal. But if she catches something big like an impala, she'll feed on it for a few days. The smell will linger. The hyenas might come in. A lion might pass through. Another leopard. It's just asking for trouble. It obviously means that you potentially don't have to look for food again, but I think that this is efficient. And it's really funny. I don't think I've seen Kuchava other than one time with, that last time she didn't even have her kill up the tree. She seems to constantly keep stashing her kills on the ground. I have to actually go back and look at a photo because I might have a photo of her with the dacre in the tree. But she likes this. She likes tall grass. She likes trees that have been pushed over, and she'll sort of hide away underneath them, which I think is why we probably don't see her very often and why she disappears for days on end, is because she will just hide away in a shrub like this, and you'll never know that she's there. Pretty awesome. You kind of have to see her going in there. Like, you could be driving around here right now, and if there weren't two vehicles in the sighting, you wouldn't have a clue. You wouldn't know that she was here. So that's awesome that she's got herself a meal. But I'm going to have to find out exactly how many vehicles are coming into the sighting, because we've been here for a while, and there's probably a lineup of sorts. Well, I'm hoping there's not. I'm hoping everyone's gone to the western corner of the Sabi Sand to go chase after animals that side. Where are you going with that, girl? Also hard to tell how much she's eaten of it. She could lift it up a bit higher. Oh, she's so lovely. Nice opportunity for screenshot. Okay, she's eaten a fair amount. Look there, she's eaten all around the ribs. She's removed most of the stomach content, it looks like. Oh, she's tearing away at a nice chunk now. Maybe she's only caught it earlier today. And she's pulling out some more stomach content there. Yeah, so I'm wondering, maybe she didn't catch it last night. Maybe she caught it early today, had a bit of a nibble, and then thought, right, it's siesta time. We'll wait for it to get cooler, the flies to start disappearing, and my meat to cure. And then I'll go and munch on it. They always say that steak's better at room temperature, so I don't know, I think that's something people say. Joy, yes, she does have a little roof over her head. Wait, I don't actually know if I understood that, Joy. A little roof over her head at the base of her tail. She's got it curled, that's for sure. Captain Hook. Captain Kuchava. With a looped tail. Might also be able to hear some Franklins shouting. Now, there is another vehicle coming in here. So this is obviously a very limited view. So we're going to sit here for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to have to move out of the sighting, just because we've had a great opportunity. And now that she's feasting, ideally there's only space for 2 vehicles to view very nicely. So we'll make sure we give everyone else a chance. A green, yes. I've seen one leopard in particular fall out of more trees than I think I'll ever see leopards falling out of trees in my entire life. And he goes by the name of Hosanna, if some of you are quick enough to type that. We were very fortunate enough to watch him grow up from pretty much only a couple of hours old, and he still is an absolute clown. He's hilarious. So from what I can gather, and thanks to all of you tagging us on social media, Hosanna has been seen at Londlozi, and he had an impala kill as of yesterday. So he's still eating, which is good. The day that Hosanna stops eating, we'll know there's something wrong with him, because he just devours everything. So I've seen that leopard fall out of numerous trees. He was not as agile as Shidulu's, one of her cubs, which Trishala had the privilege of seeing climb up a jackalberry at such a young age, at about 12 weeks, which is amazing. I've never seen a young leopard climbing a tree, and had a good shimmying motion too, which was impressive. I mean, at that age, those muscles are nowhere near developed. Kuchava, however, we've seen, I'll give her a 7 out of 10 for her dismount. She did like she was going to slip a bit, and she recovered. She just sort of sat down. I mean, that's what I would do, just pretend like I was supposed to do that. But lovely to see nonetheless. There we go. You can see by that leg that's definitely a dacre. Cool, because we're going to have to leave soon, and it's going to be an interesting way to try and navigate out of here, Murray. Murray's directing, in case. Murray's one of the new directors. So we won't be able to stay here much longer, but I think it's going to be very awkward for me to get out of the sighting live. I mean, you've all seen me do particularly awkward things anyways. Wonderful. Well, I hope you enjoyed this sighting. We're very, very lucky to see her up in the tree and now down on the ground feasting. We know she's got a meal. That's good news. Sydney didn't find anything at the watering hole, but he's managed to find a hyena.
You can see that I've got someone who is now having a natural therapy. Now the hyena is very much pretty relaxed in one of the water holes. This is a non-perennial water hole. The water is just cached here now during the rainy season. This hyena is just about less than 100 meters away from the den. So everything is happening here. He's staying there, he drinks water here, and again, he does swim at the very same water hole. You can see he's very much relaxed. The behavior like this is very normal. It's common to the hyenas, especially when it's too hot. You will see them lying down just by the waters. And apart from that, early in the mornings, so also during the night, hyenas also go for swimming. As a family, as a clan, you will see them going to the small water holes and big water holes and just go in there. You can see he's trying to listen to what is happening at the surrounding and also trying to sniff the air particles as they can be able to smell from far. Not worried at all. You can see by looking at the stomach, I can tell that this hyena ate a lot. Yeah, by sleeping here by the mud area, just that the dogs and cats, they are very much clever. Then they can try by all means and get out, unlike some other heavy animals, such as the elephants, can get stuck in this kind of water holes. So apart from the elephants, when a water hole like this is getting dry, there's always challenges. The first challenge is when water is starting to get smaller, you will see when there is only small bit of water available in the middle, because of the well moisturized area and saturated area from the beginning, animals tend to go to the middle in order to get hold of the water which is there. When they are doing that, that is when they get stuck. You must check. A lot of animals during the dry season get stuck by the water holes because the area is so very much soft and they want to get the water which is left in the middle. So, but the cats and dogs, they are very much clever because they do go to quite a lot of areas when they are hunting. They experience these muddy areas before. So the hyenas we are seeing here now, you can see the stomach looks very much big. You can see he ate a lot. And when eating a lot like that, must have to give at least the digestive system much time in order to take everything. So if we take the lions off, this is the biggest predator in Africa. So, but after the lion is obviously the second one. I'm just trying to check and observe. A Signac, this looks like June. It looks like a very small one. Doesn't look very much old, but I'm not too sure. Maybe Honorable James Richard can assist me on this, as I know he's going to confirm this. So I thought he was just planning to do something else. When I'm with the hyenas all the time, I prefer to be guided by their interest. I like to be guided by their interest. When they're sniffing and observing around, I always follow that. Look at that. Now it's time for this. Yes, here is not. It is not smelling good now. I think the hyena has just involved himself on a process of diffusion because we can smell a very strong gas coming from there now. We could hear the water bubbling before he just stood up. So we're just going to keep following now and see what that hyena is thinking about to do that side. Yeah, the furs, they are very much soft. They are not that very coarse, but they look very much thick and very much fluffy, which is good because these animals must have to protect themselves against cold. Yes, the animals such as these, they are part of the mammals, and 90% of their diet is converted into heat energy for them to survive against cold. But this kind of hairy blanket helps them a lot. So let's see, maybe we might even experience something like a greeting ceremony. I think hyenas has got the most best greeting ceremony ever compared to all these animals. So now let's quickly go to Taylor with a scrub hair.
I wouldn't have a clue what a hyena feels like. Chandra, have you ever touched one before? What do they feel like?
Smelly.
Chandra says they feel like smelly. So you can take whatever you like from that and what you think smelly feels like. But we have a scrub hare, which I suppose is not really unusual to see them out. It's pretty cloudy and overcast today, so maybe this scrub hare has decided I want to get my day started. But it is sitting out in the middle of the road. And if young Tlalamba could pop out now at any moment, that would be perfect, because this would be a great snack for her and a good opportunity to keep practicing her hunting skills. And listen, don't let an old scrub hare fool you. They're quick. They are super quick. Who remembers the luckiest scrub hare ever to live that survived the 3 lionesses the other evening from the Nkuhuma Pride, where they weren't stalking the scrub hare. It was just in between the lions and the impala. That was quite interesting. But I think it's realised it's probably not safe to stand out on the road like that, and off it goes back into the grass. Right, we will also be going off now. Wonderful. Lovely, sweet and short sighting. Not always how we like them, but for something like that, it's great. Be safe. Off you go back to Sydney. He's still with the hyenas, and I'm pretty sure he'll stay there for the rest of the drive.
I am very happy to see that all these adult hyenas I'm seeing here, their stomachs looks very much big because some of them are still now busy with the lactation period. Remember, hyenas, they're part of those carnivores which has got the longest suckling period. So they can suckle the little ones up to 18 months. Oh, I can see the small ones are also coming out there, and there have been quite a lot of calls here given by these adults to get these little ones out. Now I can see one little one is out. So when these hyenas are suckling the little ones, they must be feeding a lot so that they can be able to nest their little ones with a lot of milk. So you can hear one of them is even, you can hear that call. Yeah, this is amazing. The plonk and pretty cubs, they're all back here at the moment. As the hyenas, they are very much social and they share the den site. But when it comes to the suckling of little ones, hyenas are not like the wild dogs. Because wild dogs, whoever is suckling the puppies can just suckle everybody's. But here, they've got to come and nest their own little ones. Listen to that. That is amazing. So the hyenas, the females are so much powerful than the males. So you can hear that the hyenas have got different kind of calls. Some of the calls can be unusual, and these are some of the calls which make people, some, not to be interested on hyenas. This is normal. This animal has been designed like this, and I know there's quite a lot of stories and evil stories associated with the hyenas, which are just part of the mythical stories. So the reputation of the hyenas has been damaged a lot. What a great sighting, and a very good afternoon, and most of all, welcome to such a beautiful sighting. I am right here by the eastern side of the Juma Game Reserve, and at the hyena den I have got some interactions between the little ones and their calves. This is the little ones and their mothers. This is so amazing. So look at these little ones. They are all just moving around here, trying to sniff all these other clan members coming back. This is so spectacular. You can hear one of the adults is busy trying to give out a call. Isn't that amazing? We normally hear these animals from far. So that is the call. That is the call which was used in order to get the little ones from underneath the den. Look at this. You can see that the female was trying to mark the territory. Look, that other little one is trying to sniff there. So for these kind of hyenas, for them to demarcate territories, they use anal secretion. They've got anal glands, and they're doing something called pasting. What we have just seen now is called pasting. Yeah, baby girl, this one looks very much heavy. All these hyenas that I have seen here, together with the other one, which just went away, they have got big stomachs today. Because, oh look, I've got something interesting taking place there. The greeting ceremony has just started. The little ones are busy now trying to lick each other's genitals. Look at that. This is an amazing experience. So this is how the hyenas greet each other. They've got their own special, which is very much unique, special greeting ceremony. So these animals can be able to call, and when they're calling, you will see normally when they are communicating, they face the ground and they give out a call, and that call hit the ground and got spread and travel long distances. It is so very much beautiful to see these kind of animals coming such close to us to try and investigate. This is so amazing. Look at that. So now, let's quickly go to the Masai Mara in Kenya, where Lauren is enjoying the cheetah sighting.
We have a cheetah. We have an unknown male cheetah that we've just came across who has got up and is potentially looking to hunt. Now, not far ahead, we do have some... no impala, sorry. We have some impala up ahead, very unsuspecting impala. So we're going to follow this male cheetah and see exactly what he's going to do. But it's the perfect conditions for a hunt. The sun is starting to set, we're losing a lot of light. And it's much cooler. It's the perfect hunting time and the perfect hunting ground. We're just going to watch him. He's moving very slowly. His ears are up, listening to every sound, and the impala are really not too far in front of him. This boy definitely looks like he's going to make a hunt, and none of the impala have seen him. Impala are very vocal. If once they give an alarm call, they are completely unsuspecting of his presence at the moment. So we can just see him sitting down. He's observing the situation. Okay. So we're just going to move a little bit forward in order to get a better view of him. My name is Lauren, of course, and we do have Manu on camera. He's just off to our left here. How is this, Manu? Good? There we go. He's right off to our left there. You can just see his black ears and you can see the impala are right in front. This boy is definitely going to try and hunt. Now the impala are looking in the direction. I don't believe they've seen him. Normally you will hear quite a loud impala bark once they've spotted a predator. Some people are saying the cheetah is ready to run, absolutely, and it's going to be fast. Now, cheetahs are the fastest land mammals, but they bide their time. They can only run so fast for so long, so it's important to make sure the prey are unsuspecting and they time it right. Now, we are quite far away. We're not close to this boy, but we've got our eyes on him. And you can see all those impala up ahead. It's actually a mixed herd of male and female impala. Now the grass is just tall enough here to camouflage him when he's walking. We've been following him for some time now. We just didn't have any signal and we finally caught up with him. And he's intent on getting these impala. He's got to calculate every move at this stage. Now, normally impalas in a herd, you always have one lookout. You always have one impala who's always on the lookout. So you can see two males are actually looking in his direction. Okay, just one now. But they've both put their heads down. They haven't seen him. And he will know it. He will know he's not been spotted. He'll need to get a little bit closer, keep his body lower to the ground, and then go for it with all the speed that he has in his body. Now to us, we can see him quite clearly, but he is actually incredibly camouflage. His colorations, it's his ears from behind that give him away to us. And of course, we are actually losing light out here. The sun is starting to go down and that will work to his advantage. I don't think the impala have any idea that he's nearby. There's one male that's not quite sure. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat here. We have tried all afternoon to get the cheetah and we finally spotted this male. We don't quite know who he is though. And he is alone out here. You can just see that he's biding his time. He's got to play this right, or you could end up missing out on dinner for tonight. He spotted them from quite a while back, We were with this male from quite a while back, but we weren't able to get any signal. Oh, he's gone down. See, we've completely lost sight of him. We cannot even see this male. Oh, just barely. That's how camouflage he actually is, and that's how long the grass is here. So maybe he's just disappearing for a little while, getting ready to make his move. You can see the impala in the background are just going about their business, grooming, feeding. I really don't think any of them are aware of him. Suresh was asking who's got the best eyesight, the cheetah or the impala. Now, both do have very good eyesight, but when it comes to this sort of crepuscular light and as it gets darker, the cheetah will have the best eyesight. Impala are diurnal animals. They are predominantly active during the day, so the cheetah will indeed have the better eyesight out of the two. All the main predators here have a special layer on their retina called the tapedum lucidum, which helps reflect light back twice onto their eye, so it makes a perfect visual in the nighttime. Now, cheetahs are said to be primarily diurnal as well. Compared to the other predators out here, such as lions and leopards, cheetahs are said to predominantly hunt during the day. However, there's lots of evidence of them making hunts at night as well. You can just see them. If you did not know that cheetah was there, you would continue to drive on. So he'll have them in visual line. He won't let them out of sight. I think it's going to be any moment now that he gets up. Now, being a predator making a hunt, he will have to sort of single out which animal he is going to go for. You can see they're all looking in a completely opposite direction. Now, impala do tend to get slightly wary at this time of night. They do get slightly nervous for this reason. They do know that predators can sneak up on them in the long grass. They tend to huddle together at night time, especially in open clearings where they have good visuals of what's going on around them. If they are in amongst the vegetation, it's always possible for a predator to sneak up on them. What you gonna do, boy? I can barely see him. Now, he's definitely not going to let this opportunity go. The impala are right in front of them. He's just trying to calculate the right moment. Or maybe he's waiting for it to get slightly darker. Now, I've completely lost eyesight on him. That's how well hidden he is there. When we first approached him, he was sitting on top of a termite mound. And he was looking around for his food. He spotted the impala quite far back and he headed right in their direction. Some people are saying you can just see the tail. Yes, you can just make out there's a tail there. And if you didn't know there was a cheetah there, I really don't think you would spot that. I definitely wouldn't. Now, his body's definitely still facing them. What you gonna do, boy? The wind is actually picking up a little bit here. It's been a very, very hot day, but the wind is starting to pick up. And it is said that predators can use the wind to their advantage. So you can just see the scene right in front of you. Just that line of impala. He obviously heard them and spotted them long before we did. He's still down on the grass here. He obviously does not feel the time is right to make this hunt at the present moment. Manu's got a great spot on him. You can just see him right in the centre there. Now, we can't let this opportunity go, so we are going to have to spring into action at some point. And we are keeping ourselves completely out of the way, quite far back from him himself. So we've got a straight, clear view of what's going on in front of him. Is that a topi in there as well? Okay, we've got a mixture of animals ahead. Sanesh is asking about cheetah's success rate. I will have to get that repeated. Unfortunately, we're not in a great signal area, so I don't have the best of comms. But I did hear your question. It was something about cheetah's success rate. So we have topi and impala ahead of us. So I think he's asking, is it true that cheetah's success rate is almost 60%? I could be wrong, and I do apologise if I've got that wrong, because we do have a lot of breakup in our comms, and yes, cheetah's success rate is low. It takes a lot for a female cheetah to raise her cubs, and it is very low. So yes, the answer to your question is a very low survival rate, around 60%. I feel so lucky to have came across this moment here. Now, they're actually moving a little bit further away. This is not great news for a boy here. Ashwini's asking, will those impala run from flashlight? I'm not sure entirely what you mean here, but we don't have any artificial lights on the animals from our car. And once it starts to get darker, we will switch our camera into infrared, which uses absolutely no artificial light on the animals. So if that's what you were referring to, then they won't be running from us, that's for sure. We have no lights on in the car and no lights on the animals. But we are losing light at an alarming rate, so it will be time to switch into IR at some point. But the amazing thing about impala is when they do see an approaching predator, they will stand and bark, they will alarm, they will be very vocal, and they will direct all the others to where the threat is coming from, so they can all see, and it's a very loud noise, it's a very surprising noise. Oh, he's up again. Okay, must be checking the situation. The impala are moving off, the topi are moving off. So maybe he was just creating a little bit distance to sort of sneak up closer. So we have gone into IR now, just what I was talking about earlier. So it makes us easy to see exactly what's going on, but we're not using any artificial light. And that is why the colour will appear a little bit black and white. We are an hour ahead of South Africa up here in Kenya. It's a very calculated move. Oh. I thought he was going to get up there. You can see him looking to the left, looking to the right, looking straight forward. His ears are up. He's hungry. He's point. Now, if you look, all the animals are grazing now. All the potential prey suspects are grazing. Not one of them is paying attention in his direction. Maybe that's exactly what he was aiming for. And they also have split up a little bit, so there's more distance in between them, which gives him a better opportunity to single one out. You can see that huge landscape up ahead of him. He's got a perfect visual just where he's sitting there. Something's holding him back. Hi, boy. Constantly looking around and listening. Alex is asking, why is it taking so long? Honestly, Alex, I'm not sure. I've no idea. It's obviously just not the perfect moment for him to go for it. And he will. He absolutely will. But in answer to your question, Alex, I have no idea. Most predators are very calculated when it comes to making their hunts. So he's obviously just waiting for the right moment. All things are working in his favour. He's got the tall grass, he's got the lack of light, and the animals up ahead of him. He's got a choice as well, impala or topi. There's no way he can miss out on this opportunity. I don't know. Come on, boy. Everyone's asking why it's taking so long. It's getting darker and darker here as well. The clouds are rolling in. There we go. His ears are still up. Come on, boy, when are you going to make your move? Now, as you know, this will happen fast. Whenever he chooses the right moment, it's going to happen very, very fast. He's not sure. So of course we're going to stay here with this boy. We're not going to try and miss a moment. But for now we are going to say thank you for joining us, for your comments and questions that I managed to hear. But keep watching. Just go to YouTube and type in SafariLive and you can keep following us and find out exactly what this boy is going to get up to. And if he ever gets up and makes this hunt. So those of you still with us, this is a precious moment. Both Manu and myself were not quite sure exactly how it's going to go down here. We came all the way out here. We're almost at the border of the Masai Mara to Tanzania. So we came quite far just to find cheetah, and we found him. This lone male who we really are not sure who he is. And he's been stalking these impala, and now we have Topi in front of him as well, and he's just watching them. Now we followed them for quite a bit, and we followed him, of course, before we managed to get any signal, which always happens. So for now, we're going to send you down to Sydney with the little cubs, but if anything happens, you'll be right back with us.
What a beautiful sighting. Look at that one just by the entrance, lying down, looking at the very small ones playing right in front of her. Look, it looks like the one at the door is the one responsible of the other small little ones, but they're all still very young. So you can see that the adults, they are gone at the moment. I'm not seeing any of them. But when looking at their stomach, I think their stomachs are very full. They might come back very shortly. I don't think they will go for hunting. They are all looking heavily. They are looking much more heavy. And to the other people, looks like they're heavily pregnant. They ate a lot. So you can see that the small ones are so very much curious and they like to play. And what I have seen here when you were away is that these little ones, they want to also come and practice pasting. They are all going to that grass which was used by the adult for pasting, and they're going and they're demonstrating how pasting is done. It means it's something they have been seeing for quite a long time. Remember, play is very much important to all the various species of animals because it does help them with some of the necessary skills. Let's see, you see now they're demonstrating how to play. So we are just now quickly trying to prepare to host the school drive, and we will be back just now.
Down.
What a hot welcome by the hyenas here by the Juma Den. A very good evening, and most of all, welcome to the beginning of your game drive. Boys and girls, I am Sydney Fomurani Mikosi, and I'm traveling with my camera operator, Senzo Mkize. We are going to be with you this afternoon, and hopefully we are going to hear a lot from you. You can ask us questions through your teachers. They can just follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. So you can see that I have got one of those beautiful animals. I am very sure that a lot of you might have seen this kind of species before. This is the hyena. And this is what is called a spotted hyena. The name spotted, it is in line with what we are seeing now. You can see there's quite a lot of spots on that hyena that we are seeing there. That is why these animals are called the spotted hyenas. So these spotted hyenas we are seeing here, they are not yet matured. They are still very much young. You can see some of them, I will show you just now. At the bottom, they are even still very much dark. The colors are different from the ones you are seeing on top because they are not coming from the same mother. So they are still very young, and each one of them, each group here has got its own mother. Juliana, the ones that you are seeing on top there, they are not mothers yet. They are also still very young. So the problem is that when these hyenas are born, they are all born with the same color. They are all born dark, very kind of a brown color. And as they're growing, when they start to reach 4 to 6 months, is then that the color is going to change and you will see them bright. So the ones that you are seeing by the door of the den, a den is a site or is a place where these hyenas are hiding their babies. So these hyenas we are seeing there on top is the ones that has already gone past the different stages, and they are much older than the darker ones we are seeing. So you can see those ones are also still very small. Right in at the back there, or in front of the one lying down, and Liliana, the weight of the babies, oh yes, the adults. You can see the adult is passing by here. We're just going to show you the adult is passing by. You can see that. So that adult must be the one who is now trying to nurse the little ones or to look after the little ones who are by the den at the moment. Maybe the adult is going to come back. You can see it's slowly coming back at the moment. So let's just see what is going to happen. Yes, when it comes to the little ones all got disappeared now when the adult is coming back. So it means now our focus is going to be on the adults. So these little ones, when they're still very much small, they are not weighing too much. So I'm not too sure in terms of the exact kilograms, but most of the animals can weigh just up to 5 kilograms. So you can see that adult is passing by at the moment and all the little ones got disappeared. So they have to also think about their safety, as sometimes you might find that the ones who are passing by does not belong to the same den. So you can see all of them went in there. Garathan, the animals, they are categorized according to their diet. The hyenas falls under a group which is called the carnivores because they eat meat. And the animals which eat grass, they are called the herbivores. And the animals which eat both grass and meat, they are called omnivores. Don't get confused. Hyenas, they are falling under a group called the scavengers. And a lot of people, they think hyenas does scavenge. A scavenger is an animal who eats the other animals' remains. Hyenas, yes, they do eat the other animals' remains, but sometimes they also hunt for themselves. If you can check other animals such as the lions, they also scavenge from other animals. So scavenging is part of the behavior done by both hyenas and other big predators. So now I am going to go away from the den site because the little ones are hiding at the moment and maybe we might not see them again. So let me try to leave the area and see if I can find you any other interesting animal. So these hyenas are staying in a very big house you saw, but they did not build this house. The house was built by the termites. So this house is a termite mound. I know a termite mound maybe is going to confuse you. It is also called an ant hill. That ant hill is where the hyenas are hiding their babies. So we have got the hyena drinking here at the dam now. We are just going to show you just now. So you can see that now the hyena is busy having some mud and water bath. Now it's done, it's going out. So this is an amazing experience. Look, it's nice and clear. So let's now go to Taylor, who is having a nice sighting.
Welcome to the school drive. Look at what animals we have today. Okay, I'm going to stop doing that. I was trying to be very funny for all of you, but I'm not a very funny person. My name is Taylor, and a less funnier person is on camera with me today. His name is Jandre, and he likes to sing, so maybe he'll sing you some songs. Look at what he's got. He's going to try... He just threw a banana at me. An empty one. I can't even eat it now. But if I was a monkey, I would eat the whole thing. But look at all these cool animals. Now, you may have seen some lights and things like that. That's because there's a safari camp here. So yeah, you can, not yeah, because you wouldn't say yeah, you'd say yes. But yeah in Afrikaans means yes. You can come and stay there on safari and then sit in the swimming pool and look at all these wonderful animals. So the ones that are wagging their tails are called impala, and the big black ones are called wildebeest. Aiden, some of the animals like to stay up at night, but these animals that we're looking at, they might want to have a little bit of a sleep. So they're not what we call nocturnal. That's a very big word. That means that animals are playing around a little bit more at night, and then diurnal means that they're out during the day and are sort of more active during the day. So that's what these wildebeest and impala are. So they will move into an open area like they've just done. They might have been feeding in some of the denser bushes and things like that, trying to keep out of the wind, but now this is the best spot for them, because if there is a leopard or a lion or a hyena or anything like that that wants to eat them, then they can maybe see them. But look how long the grass is, so I don't know if it would help. But they'll, in the winter months, when there's no grass, so it turns into almost like a desert here, it's so dry, then it helps them, because then they can see the animal coming towards them. Well, they can see a little bit better. They don't see as well at night as some animals. So lions and leopards and like the hyena that Sydney has, they are all the nocturnal animals. They spend most of their time at night. Now, Natalie, if you want to be a safari guide like me, it's very easy to become a safari guide. You just have to really like people. I don't have to like people so much now because I don't take them as much on safari, but you do. You've got to love people. You've got to love working long hours. You've got to love animals. You don't get to touch the animals though. So I think lots of people think when you become a safari guide, you get to play and pet the animals. You don't. So you tell guests that have come from all over the world about how wonderful all the animals are, all the plants are, and you talk about how they interact with one another and all those types of things. And then you get to stay at some amazing, lovely, very, very fancy lodges too when you become a really good safari guide, which is really, really cool. Harper, yes, animals chase me. But if an impala were to chase me, I'd be in a bit of trouble because I wouldn't be able to outrun it because they're very fast. I've been chased by an elephant. I've been chased far too many times by buffalo. I have had leopards run at me. They didn't chase me because I didn't run away from them. I have had animals, and this has happened in the vehicle and also on foot, because we do walking safaris too. Can you believe that? That's a cool thing. You can actually go walking out here, but we normally do them in the morning. Yeah, they can chase you, but you don't really want to be chased by an animal. It's not great. It's different when you're playing in the garden and your dog's chasing after you because you've got their favorite toy. They don't have fun with you out here. Not at all. So, where are they going? It looks like they're going up to the big open place. Oh, and I'm so glad that you saw that these animals were wagging their tails and that you've asked why they do that. It's because of the flies. There's lots of little midges and little flies and bitey things that are annoying them. And they'll like to hang around towards their backside so you can see them. They're swishing those tails. Basically a fly swatter. It's really, really annoying. You might even be able to see the odd flies. See how they're even picking up their legs and kicking them? They're getting very annoyed. Can you imagine having to do that all the time? We're really lucky. Oh, she's getting very annoyed. See how she's even shaking her head now? Look, they're swishing their ears around too. They don't like those flies one bit. Now, that's not the only thing that will annoy the animals that's in the grass. There's a little thing called a tick. Maybe you've seen a tick. Maybe you pulled one off of your dog before. If you've gone walking in the woods for a hike, something like that, your parents might have said you must be careful of the ticks. There are lots and lots of ticks sitting on the edge of the grass. They're waiting to climb onto those impala. So they will be biting, and swishing their tail and flicking their ears is not going to stop them from biting from the animal, whichever animal they jump onto. But look at the big wildebeest. Aren't those funny animals? Have you ever seen one before? Maybe you've watched some documentaries on National Geographic, or maybe even BBC or one of them, about the Great Migration, about in Kenya and Tanzania, where the wildebeest gather in their millions, and off they go. You've got mud on your head. That one's been sticking its head in a bit of mud. I wonder if that's a male there. They normally do that. Scent marking on the ground. But it's pretty cool to see all these animals living together. And it's very important that they stay close to one another because they will help each other. If there are any lions around, or if there are any leopards, and an impala sees it first, they will shout. They will shout very loudly and tell everyone else that there is a predator. So that's what we call lions and leopards and hyenas and cheetah and wild dogs and things like that. We call them predators. And then we'll call these guys the prey. It's amazing. And even the birds will be able to understand what they're saying. But I'm listening now, and I can't hear any of the predators making a noise. They're very quiet. Aiden, yes, if you look carefully, you can see that some of these antelope have horns like goats. I think the horns on the impala, though, are more impressive. That's a young impala, so his horns aren't very big. But if we look to the left, I'm just trying to see, there's one big impala ram left. The others have all moved off. But he's just up in front. So there we go. So that's what a big impala looks like. And that's his horns fully grown. So those are the boys with the impala, and then the girls don't have horns. You can see they're completely naked. They've just got their big ears. But if you look very carefully at the wildebeest, did you notice that all of them had horns? So how do you tell the difference between the boys and the girls? Very difficult, that's for sure. So the boys have got bigger horns than the girls, but both the boys and the girls of the wildebeest, they've got horns. Very cool. Okay, we're going to go and see what other cool things we can find you. Maybe a chameleon or an owl. I think Sydney is on the go and looking for something similar.
I am now just trying to see if we can pick up some tracks here. Maybe we might be lucky and find you something interesting. For us to see these animals, we must also have to check the ground, because animals on the ground, they leave behind a lot of markings. And these markings, the prints is the one that normally lead us to find them. So here we are driving. The chances are very high because we are not very far away from one of the water holes, small water holes, which is used by these animals for drinking purposes. And so far, I am not seeing any of the fresh tracks here. Rebecca, the hyenas, those kind of animals, when there is dead fishes, they have been spotted as well feeding on some of the fish. They do, but they don't normally go out for fishing. And not long time ago, here where I am talking to you from, there was also an incident whereby some of the big cats, such as the leopards, were spotted feeding on some of the fish. So the animals can be very much opportunistic, and they will just go after anything which is available, especially when they're too hungry, because hyenas, for them to go and look for food, normally they are determined by what is in the stomach. That is determined by what is in the stomach. They get motivated by what is in the stomach. If there is no much in the stomach left, then they must have to go and look for food. And sometimes it can take days when they're not winning. That is when they can just eat anything available. Stella, the hyenas, they have got to hide. One, what we saw just now, those were cubs. The cubs are very much vulnerable because they are normally hiding behind alone when the adults are gone in search of food. So it means every time they pick up something unusual outside, they must have to run and hide. And apart from that, the adults themselves, they have got to move the little ones all the time from one den site to the next. So they will stay here for about 2 weeks and more. When they think that now there is quite a lot of smell from the babies which might invite other predators to come and eat them, they must have to move them. Every time they are going to move them to avoid other predators to detect that they are hiding their babies. So by this time of the night is when the hyenas are going to go out in search of food. Yes, you can see the hyenas looking for the food during the daytime, because when they are lying down by the den site, if they pick up information from the air that there is a blood somewhere, they will just wake up and keep following. So it is very much important in the bush here during the day, if you see the hyena, to follow them, because they might lead you to where the lions have got something to eat. So now, let's go back to Taylor again with the wildebeest.
So we're still watching the wildebeest, and now you can see everything's gone into black and white. So we've got a very special light on called an infrared light, and we can't see the color of that light, and neither can the animals. So just now, when it gets completely dark, I'll just see nothing around me, but on my special monitor on my little screen, and you can all see exactly what's going on. So how cool is that? So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to move up further, because the impala and all the wildebeest have now run away. They're going to the top plains, so we'll go and see what they're up to over there. Still a few more impala around, but we'll go catch them up top, I think, where we can see a whole lot of them a little bit better. Right, where did you go? This is also a good time, though, to sit nice and quietly to listen. Agnes, wildebeest like to eat grass. That's their favorite thing in the whole wide world. I don't know if they have a favorite type of grass. I think it's just all grasses in general, except thatching grass. No one likes to eat thatching grass. I don't think it tastes very nice. So here's some of the impala. Let's want to see where most of them are. I'd like to go up to where the wildebeest are. We'll get up there slowly. Oh, hello, wildebeest. Here they are. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again. They're probably going to run, so they're also going to be a little bit nervous of us in the vehicle now, because it's getting darker. They can't see as well. They might start panicking a little bit. You can see I like the little ones. Oh, there's some fighting going up ahead. Jandre, do you know what looks really cool? Look at those impala that are standing on the termite mound. Now, that is very, very clever. Can you see them? So those are the impala again. And there's a couple of them that are standing up quite high on the termite mound, just to the left. Now, that's very, very important. It's a vantage point. So what that means is that they've positioned themselves up in a nice area, nice and high, so they can see. So they can see over the tall grass, they can see further than anyone else. So they'll do that when they're looking out for danger. Don't you think that's very clever? So we call that a vantage point. You don't need to remember all these words. There's no test at the end, I promise. But I always think it's quite nice. And it's the little impala too that are standing up there. So it's good that they're learning, that they can climb up something like that if they need to check for danger. And they're just munching away. Oh, there go the wildebeest now, sprinting, chasing everyone else. They're very nervous. I really just think, though, that it's because they can't see very well. I think it's best to just be cautious. Okay, let's carry on. Let's go up a little bit further and catch up to them again, because the animals are leaving us behind. We might also start looking for something else. I have a spotlight here. It's very tangled at the moment. See. And this thing I can use to try and find chameleons. Have any of you ever seen a chameleon before? I haven't seen one since I've been back in this area, so I would love to find a chameleon. Let us keep searching. So we're going to check on the trees, and with the spotlight, I'm looking for a grey or a white sort of shine back, and that normally means that there's a chameleon there. So they look like a leaf, but with the light, they look completely different, and they don't camouflage into the tree. But you have to know what you're looking for. Oh, otherwise you'll just drive straight past it. Oh my goodness, wildebeest, what's going on here? We'll watch the wildebeest again. All the little ones are also running around. Hear the noise they're making. And then sometimes I'll go, no. That is the alarm call of the wildebeest. That's what the big male wildebeest will do if he thinks that he's found danger. Liliana, they're nervous because I don't think they can see very well now, and the grass is very tall, so there could be a lion or a leopard or something watching them. Look at all these impala that are coming up here. There's so many of them. They're all coming to join the wildebeest now. You see that? They don't want to be left alone. But that's a really, really big herd of impala. So a herd is what we normally call a big group of animals that eats leaves and grass. You wouldn't say a herd of lions or a herd of hyena. They've got different collective nouns. They've got different names. You say a pride of lions and a clan of hyena. But you could say a herd of wildebeest or a herd of impala or a herd of zebra. You can get creative. A herd of cows. That's also fine. This is so lovely. Very peaceful now too. Let's have a little listen. Let's see if we can hear anything. I don't think you will be able to hear very much. Maybe some crickets. But the impala and the wildebeest are being very, very quiet. And they don't want to be noisy. Do you know what, Chandra? Those two little wildebeest on the right there, they are very naughty this evening. I think they've had too much sugar. One just chased an impala out of the way. Let's see if they try and do it again. So those are very young. They're only a few months old now. So they want to play around all the time, where the adults want to be listening out for the predators. See, look, they're butting heads now. And they've got tiny little horns just sprouting out of the tops of their heads. There, the impala. There's also some young impala there. They probably want to do a bit of playing too. They don't always play with one another, with the different species, but I have seen wildebeest chasing other animals around. I've seen little rhinoceroses chasing birds around. Elephants like to chase anything around. No, this is not a real fight. Like I said, they're just practicing. They're playing for one day when they're big, and the boys will fight like this. So the boys will fight for the girls, and this is the way that they do it. And sometimes it gets so hectic that they will push the wildebeest and they'll go down onto their knees and they'll fight down on the ground as well. But that's a serious fight then. These guys won't be doing any of that. I can hear some of the impala shouting in the distance. But I don't know if it's just one. Nah. Right. We're going to see what else is going on here. I can hear some impala making noise, but they might just be shouting at one another. Off you go to Sydney, who's also got his spotlight out and searching for any animal.
I have got my spotlight out at the moment. You can see I am trying here to see if we can find something. Oh, I've got an animal right here in front of us. Let's hope this animal doesn't get shy. I can see that animal is right here. So let's hope he doesn't get shy. You can see I am not even using my spotlight to shine on that animal because I don't want to expose the animal. The camera that I'm using can be able to show you that animal without my spotlight. So this, what we are seeing here, is called a waterbuck. Look at the beautiful horns. So the waterbuck is one of those animals which it prefers to feed not very far away from the water holes. So the male waterbuck carry horns, the females don't carry horns. So you can see now that we can see that animal nice and clear. This is because of the type of camera we're using. It has got what is called an IR, which is the infrared. So we can see the animal without disturbing the animal. So the animal is still in a complete darkness. But because of the quality of camera, we can clearly see that animal. Alexa, that is quite a very good question. My favorite animal is a dung beetle. A dung beetle, a lot of people don't believe that dung beetles are part of animals because people, they think insects, they are not animals. Let me tell you something. Insects also falls under Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia involves animals and insects. And Insecta is just a class. So now I am going to climb here a little bit and see there is a little water hole. Maybe we might find something interesting here at the water hole. Oh, nothing is there. So let me just go around here and see if we cannot find any other animal around here. So when I'm shining the spotlight, so now let's go back to Taylor.
Sorry, everybody. Are we on thermal? Are we on thermal? Sorry, Mary, can you confirm? Sorry, everybody. There's a bit of communication issue this afternoon. We want to try and show you something really, really cool. Maybe we can, we won't even see it, but you can see I've got this little monitor. Can I show them in the car, the two monitors? So remember I was telling you how we can't see the other light, the infrared light? So I can only see what's going on outside because of what's showing on this monitor. And then this little one over here, this special one, which hopefully will get working for you, that's thermal. So you'll be able to see with the FLIR camera, you'll be able to see the different sort of heat signatures of the animals, which looks really, really cool. You won't get to be able to see that anywhere else because the animals are moving a little bit further away from us now, and they're not. Every time we drive closer to them, they're going to just keep running away again. So we're actually going to carry on. Let's carry on because we've spoken about all the wildebeest and the impala that we can speak about. Right, where's my spotlight? It used to be a good chameleon tree. What else are we going to find? If we don't find a chameleon, we can see all sorts of animals that come out at night. Maybe we'll look for a honey badger or a white. Okay, Sydney has found one of the animals that come out at night, so let's very quickly go back to him.
I've got one of the very beautiful birds. This is one of the nocturnals. The nocturnals are those animals which are active at night. So you can see the owls, they are now beginning to come out. So it means it's now during the darkness. And normally they look for things such as the rats, they catch the mice as well, and also the other things. They even predate some of the small birds as well. So look at how this owl is moving the head. So what I like about the owls is the irritability, how their hearing works. They can be able to program their ears in such a way that the left ear can copy something from the left ear at the same time. So left ear can hear something from the right ear at the same time. So they can be able to concentrate on two different frequencies. Isn't that amazing? That is so amazing. So unfortunately, the owl managed to fly away. And it was not just one. When we got here, there were two owls. So it means it's time now for them to hunt. So there's quite a lot of elephant markings here on the road, the tracks, as well as the droppings. So maybe we might be lucky with the elephants in this area. So the animals which are active during the day, now is not the time for us to disturb them. If I see any, I will just pass them, and then we can look for those that are more active now. I didn't copy the question very nicely. If you can repeat that. The puma, the elephants can be up to 5.8 meters. So that is quite a long. I can see there's a cat here. Oh, yes. Here, somewhere deep here, there's a cat. It looks like a genet. If not a genet, it must be a civet. Can you see that? Here. I'm right shining on it. Right there, yes. Right there. Look at that. You can see the movement there. So there is a cat here. I can't see what exactly that cat is, but you can see there's a movement there. But I saw it's a spotted cat, which looks like a genet. Yeah, I saw the ice reflection. So the spotlight helps in order to pick up the ice on these animals when hiding behind these bushes. And then suddenly we can see them nicely. So I can see that that cat is right there. So it's somewhere behind these grasses here. I can see it still from here. It's just that the grass is too tall, so the sighting is not that very good. Yeah, it's not easy. Maybe as I'm driving around the corner here, we might be able to see that cat nicely. It's not easy to see it from this angle. Now let's hope we will find another cat again. So you can see that it's very much important in the bush here in order to have a spotlight during the dark. So here where I'm driving, I can pick up quite a lot of scent because these animals, they use different scents to mark their territory. So now let's go back to Taylor.
Sorry, everyone. Look at what we've just found. I don't know if we're in thermal. I'm not sure if we're in infrared right now. But we have a nightjar, which is another one of the birds. It might land back in the same spot. Look, there we go. Just like magic. So it's not an owl like what you saw at Sydney, but this is another kind of nocturnal bird. So now you're probably wondering, why does everything look so strange? So remember I was telling you about the FLIR thermal camera? That's what we're using right now. So you can see the bird is on the left-hand side of the road. See how there's a dark purple strip going down the middle of the screen, just to the left of it. You might be able to see it. So the purple spots and the black spots mean that it is colder, and the orange and the red means that it is nice and warm. So the road keeps a lot of heat during the evening. I think let us go to infrared again, because this bird is going to fly a little bit further away, but we'll try and show it to you in the infrared light as well. We'll try and get a little bit closer. We're going to drive up here. We're going to see if we can watch it catch some insects. Land. They normally like to sit in the road. Where are you going? It's just flown off. No, come back. They're really cool birds though, and they've got really big mouths. I'm just having a look to see if there's another one. Let's just keep driving a little bit further down because there might be another one in the road. Let's see. So I'm going to just quickly watch the road so we don't miss one. The reason why they like to sit in the road like this because it's a nice open piece. You saw how tall the grass is on either side. So what they'll do is they'll sit here and they'll look up into the sky and they'll see all the insects flying above them. And then they'll swoop up, grab an insect, and then go all the way back down to normally the same spot. That's why I said sometimes you can actually just watch in the same place and they'll go back. But it doesn't look like we're going to win with another one of those awesome birds. They're really cool nightjars and they make a very nice sound. That looked like a fiery-necked nightjar, and it's a sound that we hear in Africa all the time. If we stop, I'll play it for you. Where is it? Here. Let me see if I can play. I can drive and do this. Now I have to stop. So birds. Let's go for nightjar. So I have a cool app on my phone that lets me play the sounds. Fiery neck nightjar. That's it. Beautiful sound to hear. Don't you think? Oh. Sounds like there's something exciting happening on the radio, but sadly I don't think we can go. Oh, okay, spotlight out. What's that there, Jean-Andre? Can you see those? Oh no, it's just flown. No, it's back there. It's far away. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. Oh, there we go. You can see a little bit of the eye reflection. I wonder if it is just another nightjar. It's blinking. It's definitely a bird. It could also be a little owl. There's some really small owls out here. You see that big white thing? So that's a reflection of the eye. Rebecca, something that I wish everybody knew about South Africa. I think that we make the best barbecues. We don't even call them barbecues. We have our own word for them. They're called a braai. A braai. You've got to roll your R's. So we have the best barbecues in the whole world. There's no one that can beat us. Hey, Jean-Andre? Even vegetarian barbecues are delicious. Just saying, don't just have to eat meat. They're also really, really nice. I don't know, I think that's the coolest thing. That's my favorite thing about South Africa. The food in South Africa is just out of this world. We are so spoiled. We've got so many different types of things to eat. That's always the thing I miss most when I travel. I always go, oh, I can't wait to go back to South Africa to eat food. It's delicious. Okay, come on, comedian. Where are ya? I'm gonna look, like I said, in the trees. You can also look in the grass. There might be some baby chameleons now. Chameleonlets. What would you call a baby chameleon, Jean-Andre? No, that's a piece of bark. Jean-Andre? Jean-Andre's not talking to me anymore, and he's tired of hearing my voice. Sorry. Can you say that again? What did Scarlett ask? I missed it. He's crying because Jean-Andre won't talk to me anymore. Oh, do lizards? Yes, Charlotte. There's so many lizards here. So many of them. But you won't really see... Chameleon! You won't really see them at night now. You'll normally see them during the day. I'm going to take the light off because we don't need it. Chameleon! Yes! Hello, you beautiful reptile. How cool is that thing? That's a really big one as well. You know what, Jean-Andre? I might walk up to it. I'm just checking. 2 minutes. I've got 2 minutes before the show ends. Okay, I'm going to jump out very quickly because I want to put my hand next to it. You shouldn't do this. Don't do this. But I'm a silly safari guide. Where is it, Jean-Andre? It's gone. It's oh my goodness, all the way up there. Can you see my hand next to it? Look how big it is. Hi, chameleon, I won't hurt you. Okay, I'm going now. I'm getting back in the car because I'm scared. I don't like to be out at night. Okay, I'm going to shake the vehicle a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm just climbing in. There we go. Okay, I'm done. Done making a noise. So, chameleons are nocturnal, I hope you were all thinking. So they come out at night. But he's not really going to come out to have anything to eat. He's probably just going to have a little sleep now on that branch. Not sleeping right now, though. Staring at us, going, "What are you watching?" And they've got very, very good camouflage. They look exactly like leaves. So this chameleon is actually green in color, but you can just see it in black and white. And they can sort of change their color a little bit, but not super well. They're designed to blend in with the vegetation. But so lucky. I've been searching for one for almost a week now, probably even longer than that. But sadly, we don't have very much time left. But I'm so happy that you all got to see one of South Africa's chameleons, the flat-neck chameleon. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. And, of course, a big thank you goes to the schools that have joined us this late afternoon session on the Sunset Safari. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit. And we hope that you join us again. And maybe some of you will want to become safari guides. To everybody else, I hope you enjoyed the drive. And we'll be doing it all again first thing tomorrow morning. Bye.